Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are here for Swim or Spook 46. My name is Melissa Acid Sunshine. I have the absolute pleasure of being joined by one of my best friends, the Barry. How are you tonight, Barry?
Oh, I am wonderful tonight, and the pleasure is all mine because I get to commentate with you, which is always just the most joyful occasion. Not to mention, we get to see some Splatoon action. I haven't been watching a whole lot of comp recently, and I would imagine due to your work schedule, you haven't caught much either. So this is going to be a treat for both of us.
It certainly is. I think the only other comp I've seen is the last time I was able to grace the mic here at Swim or Sink. And yeah, I'm really excited because I know that these two teams are veterans, but I don't remember seeing either before. So this is going to be like completely new.
Well, the treat is getting to commentate with us, but the trick is figuring out what we've been missing from the competitive scene, of course. But we have been informed that there is a filthy carbon player on Paradise, I believe. Carbon, one of those weapons that can definitely change a lot during a match if they get onto a little bit of a roll, especially on a map like Humpback Zones. Really could be something that's able to set Paradise apart from Twice here.
Ooh, definitely. I think zones on Humpback is always one that when you see a good roller player, they really do like take that level from, maybe a 5 to like a 25 against that other team, where then everybody just feels like they're constantly on their heels trying to regain ground because that player becomes so strong. The angles work really well to their advantage, and it's just like an ink bath, really. You don't really have any way to get away from them.
Absolutely, and especially when you're trying to push back in and take map back, you have to be worried about where they might be sharking, because one swing and you're going to be in a whole world of hurt there. So we'll see if they're able to capitalize on this tricky weapon. There it is, coming out there from Paradise. I believe, or maybe not,
I don't see... yeah, I think that's on the Paradise side, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just had to double check my colors there. Twice with the E-Leader, I do see that as well, and double armor coming out from Twice. Very common feature, of course, these days, but I like the aggression that we might get to see from Paradise.
Me too.
They don't die.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, ooh, I mean, 2 down on both sides, kind of been a little bit of a challenge so far. But Barry, I gotta ask you, as a Charger player, would E-Leader be your choice for this map mode combination? Do you think that their kind of aggression that Paradise has might overwhelm what Twice is looking at?
I think one of the most important parts of the kit on E-Leader is actually the ink mines. It's going to be really good for helping to find that carbon, but of course they are popping up at just the perfect time to demonstrate what it's capable of on this map here, and of course on the E-Leader as well. This Nautilus getting another pick in the meantime and should be able to bring out this Inkjet in a moment or two. If they're able to find another pick or two off of this, especially with the missile chip damage coming out, they should be able to find one. But I think the armor and the K-Shot is going to put them back in spawn.
It is, and that was a really nice retake by Twice there. They were able to push in very concisely. They used that rain to take as much as they could, and they're moving up. But what I really liked about that play too is they called out where those positions were. They're getting a little bit fight back right now as Paradise comes back in, and we have 2 down on the side of Twice, which is going to cause the zone to flip back over in Paradise control. 57 though, that's not so bad from where they were. I think that Twice did a really nice job of working towards that lead.
Yeah, and for the most part, every time you see competitive teams playing zones, it's not going to be the 100-0. It's going to be just constant battle back and forth, trying to chip away at the penalty and get 20 to 40 extra points off of their counter. But of course, so far these teams have both struggled a little bit to be able to push in once they've established zone control and get any picks to allow the points to tick off more. I almost thought we were going to see collateral, but sadly no.
No, looks like they are also going to be in a tough spot. Really, Twice needs to push in right now because now we're breaking down the point on Paradise side again. They are able to flip the zone into neutral, and they're 2 players down on Paradise side, which will help them. They do get to cap that, putting a 32-point penalty on. But I don't know. I think Paradise has done such a nice job of continually, like you said, like taking that back, like continuing this back and forth between both teams, that Twice needs to do something in order to hold this long enough for them to break down their point.
And perhaps that the success that Paradise has found is that even though we are seeing plenty of armors coming out from Twice, we've already seen 7, I don't feel like that they've been able to do a whole lot with that aggression. That in part comes from running a E-leader, something that ideally does only really pushes up once you have total map control. But again, they just haven't quite found that full wipe. We'll see if this K-shot here is able to go in. They have at least forced the Junior to jump away, and if these missiles can consolidate Paradise into a little bit more of a narrow grouping, maybe the E-leader will be able to find some picks off of that too.
Yeah, I hope so. It looks like they've done a really nice job of spreading themselves out, whereas we see every time Twice comes into mid, they are very close together, and I think that might be to their detriment because Paradise is taking advantage of being able to spread out and pick people off one by one, especially when you have this Sharky roller right here of like terrifying terror just going to pop up in front of you. Not what you want to see.
And it, of course, doesn't help at all either when the roller is getting some kills from their Autobomb rush as well. Probably the least effective method for finding the picks, but unless Twice is able to do something very quickly here, this Inkstorm hopefully will be able to neutralize the zone. Yep, I was just gonna not say a word until we see the outcome there. Very well played there from Paradise, I would say. Again, very composed every time they had to push back in, and as you very keenly pointed out, always grouping up so that they were able to focus the members of Twice in 2v1s, sometimes even 3v1s on those retakes.
Yeah, I think it was such a good game to watch for their comp as well. Like, they were really thoughtful, Paradise, in terms of what they were going to play and what they were going to run. I'm curious how that will translate to tower control on Manta Maria, because in zones, obviously, you're going to focus in one area, and you really need to be conscious of where you're putting your power, where you're putting your players. But when you have to go from point A to point B, sometimes you lose, I guess, the control that you have by using weapons like they did. You know, that roller might not be as successful this time around, obviously, because there's less area to shark around. I would love to see an E-leader come back out from Twice, or what would you suggest on this, I guess?
I know that a very popular pick is Firefin, even though it has gone through a few nerfs. I think the Suction Bomb Rush is able to take back so much map control, especially with good splash wall play being used in and around the tower. That can be a very effective weapon, and of course it plays a bit quicker. Of course, there's nothing wrong with running a Stingray variant if you want to run the Splatter Scope, or even pull out the Custom Jet, or if you wanted to go heavy Splat Lane as well, that's always an option too. One of the less utilized ones, but something that's not terrible on Manta just because of the great opportunities. Very mobile, very much run speed across the grates. So I think there's plenty of options for the backliner. And the last one that I haven't mentioned is dropping backline entirely.
Oh, yeah.
Being able to match the aggression coming out from Paradise with aggression yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And having the opportunity to be able to move throughout the map faster, like maybe we'll see someone rocking dualies and they might be able to use that little extra movement to add to an element of surprise. I think we had a try on Twice as well last time, so having a slosher like that would be beneficial for them again. So I'm excited to see what they bring to this.
And of course, we will not have to wait long. No changes coming out there from Paradise. The backliner on Twice switching off of E-Leader and going to that very popular Custom Jet Sculpture one-shot, pulling out maybe even the Quick Ray. Doesn't look like they're farming Ray just yet, and I think we've seen that try switch off to the slosher. I do actually remember Kakaroto these days. It has just redawned on me. They are a very, very good slosher. So hoping to see them be able to do something very, very nice this match, but they do go down early. A quick trade coming back out from Twice, able to take down the Carbon and the Nautilus while only giving up their end zap as well. And they should be able to get a pretty good push coming here with just the Junior left.
They absolutely should. It seems like also Paradise probably pulled back a little bit. The Junior pulled back a little bit to wait for the rest of the team to kind of come forward, and they're sort of trying to build a couple of things over here, but there's so much aggression coming out from Twice that Paradise is having a tough time pushing forward through. This is kind of, in my opinion, the worst section of the map to have to work through. You know, you never want the tower to get here because the defense is so much harder from here out, whereas if you keep it in mid as long as possible, you have a much easier time being able to defend. So I don't know, I'm a little worried for Paradise at this point.
Worried you should be, I think, especially with this Stingray coming out, if they're able to get this pick onto the Carbon, who has done a great job to find one and prevent the tower from getting pushed any further. That said, 9 points left on the objective there. Not a lot remaining for Twice to push through. A fantastic overall push. I think the solution of challenging the aggression on Paradise with some aggression of your own has done them wonders.
It certainly has. I think this is going to be really good for them. Paradise needs to kind of come together and be able to focus their aggression moving forward. Right now, you were talking earlier about how like 1v1s are becoming 2v1s. They're doing a nice job for the most part making that happen, but I think that there's a little bit of a struggle when it comes to the flank. They seem to not quite be paying as close attention as maybe they might want to be, because it looks like that's where their weakness is coming from on that side.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I won't say is a weakness of theirs, but is going to be a large challenge, is overcoming that Stingray. With only one armor, it's really just going to be on the duty of the Junior to provide an armor every time that custom jet has a Stingray ready. So far, only 2 rays coming out, and they're a long way off of being able to provide one here to stop this push. So this could be the successful lead-taking counter push here from Paradise if this pick is found, which it was. And
Ooh.
I don't think the Jet's going to be able to do too much to challenge this checkpoint.
I don't think they're going to be too much to challenge this point in general. Like, that's game point right there. Nobody was close enough.
Yeah, very, very strong. Again, I think maybe just a little bit of chaos, a little bit of panic initially during that first push that we saw from Twice on the side of Paradise, running in one at a time. I did see that the Carbon went down right when that armor came out from the Junior, which is always something that it's a big disappointment from a team perspective. You want to obviously make use of that armor, so to die right as it's getting popped, kind of tragic. But again, the composure that Paradise has shown here to come right back in and not worry about such a large lead that they gave up. Fantastic work from them.
Really, really, I'm very excited to see this one especially. I mean, Clams is my favorite mode. I think you're on the Mako Mart bus, right? You're a fan?
I definitely didn't leave it out unintentionally from a map list.
Oh, then,
Yeah.
well then. How do I not know this about you? I'm sorry.
No. It was recent developments that it slipped my mind when I was creating something. Truly accidentally.
Okay.
No, I do like Clamblitz. I think Mako Mart. Clamblitz is, in my personal opinion, the weakest mode of the 3 on Mako, just because it's such a short distance between basket to basket, so a full wipe leads to a pretty large push. Not to mention there's plenty of clam spawns in and around the basket.
Yes.
But that said, I am fully on board with the Clamblitz train.
Yeah. I think this map to me is like the most balanced in every mode, but I agree with you. This is probably the worst, like, in terms of
objectively. Worst.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course. Yeah. Absolutely. You know,
We're never subjective.
No. And when you're looking at the best mode in the game, that's completely an objective opinion as well. I mean, objective fact. Yeah, that's what I meant. Totally.
We're professionals around here.
Yeah.
As I would expect Paradise to be as well, because I think from the comps we've seen so far, this map does have to favor Paradise. The Carbon, not only does it do well on Humpback, but it does very, very well on Mako Mart as well. And again, the solution from Twice seems to be
Ooh.
going shorter range yet again, pulling out a 96 gal and opting for triple armor. That could be the solve. I don't know.
It certainly could be. I'm happy they went back to the try. I have to say that. That I think is a really good pick here. And that's not, like, in terms of being objective, right? I always prefer kind of the vanilla slasher or the deco over the try, just because I feel like it can be kind of stronger. But in this case, I think this was just a better option for them. They're going to cause a lot more chip damage much faster, and if they can get those picks where they need them, that's going to be crucial. Right away, Twice is able to push in, break this basket. Over on the left, we have a couple loose clams coming in. That was a nice shutdown from Paradise, but that, within a minute, getting down to 68, yeah, this is a really close map, but I still think that was a pretty good push.
I think it was a good push, but I think they're actually going to lose the lead here rather quickly. We just saw that the map control that Paradise was able to take back during that almost wipe from Twice. Just one shot left here on the 96, trying to challenge that Carbon Roller, who, if they can keep the basket open, might allow for that teammate to run the pity clam in. Not going to happen, and that's kind of alright though. I mean, 22 points on your penalty is not too difficult to push through on your next attempt. So I never have a problem with a push that gets, 40-ish points.
I agree. And I think them having 2 power clams right now is also really solid. We have a power clam on the other side, so they're kind of all able to pay attention who's everywhere. But if Frosh is able to break that first, which it looks like they will, and a full wipe on Paradise. Wow.
Yeah, not just the wipe too, but 2 footballs lost. One of them was the pity from previously, so that's something that they're not going to be able to get back, unfortunately. Of course, they will have a pity of their own soon here. It doesn't look like any more clams will be going in for Twice, but what I am really liking, I think the problem that we saw coming out from Twice on that first map on Humpback Zones was, even though they ran double armor, they didn't have the weapons necessarily to push up and use that armor to their aggression. Now, of course, with so many quick, fast weapons that can challenge, even though they're a little bit more supportive, able to utilize the triple armor, and they've had already 9 armors, which is just delightful to deal with.
That sounds actually terrifying. Talk about swimmer spook. That is a spooky thing right there.
Yeah, that's I don't know if that's certainly not a treat, but I don't think it's a trick either.
Really nice job once again breaking this barrier down to 22, and we're gonna get a couple of loose clams in, but I don't quite think they have anybody who's gonna be able to get a power clam together. So we'll get a penalty again, but that's okay. They have been working really solidly in terms of breaking this down each time, and I think that slow and steady at this point is gonna be what's gonna help them maintain their lead.
I agree, because as long as they're not wiping, they're able to test for map control. And without map control, the Carbon's not able to do nearly as much. It puts a lot more onus on the Junior to take the time to really paint. And it makes it, of course, a little bit more difficult for the K-Shot and the Nautilus to move and get some picks as well. Yeah, just like that. I mean, even though it is a trade there from Daybreak, only getting a trade on to one shot, not nearly what you're hoping for, and part of that does come down to not having perfect map control on your stack.
Absolutely. Map control is going to be so important, obviously in every mode, but especially when your map is so small like this, because you could think, hey, I have most of the map, and all of a sudden turn around and it's gone from like one use of a special. Or in this case, that Inkjet is not creating a huge pathway with the jet, the bottom of the jets, but it's enough to be able to take that map control away and make it much harder for somebody to move through that system. So I think this is building up to be a really good push for Paradise if they're able to maintain their positioning here. 2 power clams plus a couple loose ones. This could be where we're at, Barry, with a little bit of a scary turnover if they time it right.
Yeah, and those are some, I won't say lucky picks, but well-timed picks coming in there from a bomb. Great job by One Shot there to prevent the other football from getting scored immediately, but Paradise somehow able to find just enough to get lead. 2 extra clams, and that Junior is going to schmoove their way away to safety. Of course, the game is not over yet. All it's going to take is 1 football and a handful of clams, or even 2 footballs, since they do have that pity back there as well. But with about 15 seconds left here in overtime, this push is going to be very difficult, especially without without having a full team alive just left of the K shot. I think that's game.
I think so too. Oh, there they go. And that power climb is probably going to despawn, before they can get anyone to it. But, oh my gosh, such a nice job. And for this being the first set of the night, I think there's huge potential for Twice to be able to, like, rock the rest of their games today. They did such a nice job in this one, just, like, Paradise eked out, and every game just a tiny little bit. And I think that that's shaping up to be a really nice tournament for Twice today.
Absolutely. I think that 3-0, even though it does go in the favor of Paradise, does not quite do justice to how well Twice played. They were close matches, obviously coming down to some very large pushes, both in tower and in clams. And, you know, I think maybe a few missteps here or there. I think with the Tri-Slosher sharking midway through that Clam Blitz match, they lost a lot of ink and they lost 2 members. They didn't find anything off of that shark. And that allowed for a really good push coming out from Twice. But, you know, maybe later on in the day when they're a bit more warmed up, when they're a bit more focused, able to find something off of a play like that, and could be a big difference maker.
Yeah, absolutely. I really think so. I'm very excited to kind of follow along with them in terms of bracket to see what they're going to be able to do for the rest of these here. And I believe we're going to... I think that might actually, I think we're waiting for 1 or 2 sets to finish up here, according to what I'm looking at on the bracket, and then we'll be moving on to the next one shortly after that. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I was just looking at these teams. It's one of the groups in Group D, Halloween versus Garfield's Halloween Adventure.
I see it, yeah. And of course, Garfield's Halloween Adventure currently up to nothing. As you do. I mean, it's Garfield's Halloween Adventure, not just Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I think anytime you add a celebrity to something, it's gonna, you know, be different, right?
Yeah, it gets the celebrity bump.
Yep. I even like Ouroboros instead of like Ouroboros, right? That's Ouroboros. So cute. So cute. So we are going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we will be right back with our next set coming up soon. Hello, we are welcome back. My name is Melissa Acid Sunshine. I'm joined by the Barry tonight. We're going into round 2, Barry. We have aXolt. aXolt, is that how you say it? I'm sorry, I can never pronounce this word.
That is my understanding of how you say it. Yes.
Okay. and HyperFlow and Friends. And I don't see any spooky names listed here.
You're saying that Moo isn't spooky?
I was thinking that, actually.
If only they'd taken that opportunity. I'm very shocked here. You're a very talented person, and I know this, and the people at home know this, but I didn't realize that you were so talented that you could commentate and play at the same time.
You know, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, if anything is spooky, it's seeing kind of like my, like, a little bit of my name up there. So that maybe, but I know that, well, our dear friends here at IPL are hosting a raffle tonight for anyone who has changed their names to something spooky within the game today. So definitely something that all the players should be working on if they haven't set up already, and really super cute way to kind of celebrate spooky season.
Yeah, and I have to imagine this is up there for people's favorite holiday. Who doesn't get into the Halloween season?
Yeah. Are you going to dress up for Halloween this year?
Absolutely not. Moving very promptly on. I think both of these teams are going to be very, very good. I am familiar with HyperFlow and Friends. Zori is a phenomenal backliner. Ariel is an incredible support player. Will probably be playing Junior, but could be playing Dynamo. Definitely has a very good Dynamo in their repertoire. And I expect the Spets to be on a Slosher, or a Machine, perhaps. HyperFlow and Friends did 3-0 their opponents in round 1. And aXolt did get 3-0'd. However, Orabuz, I think is how you pronounce that, is actually Good Morning with Keen and Lux and Shadowwind. So getting 3-0'd by them is nothing to be ashamed of. They are an extremely good team. So I guess we'll get to see just how much of a challenge aXolt can give for HyperFlow and Friends.
Yeah, we certainly will. And going into this, I think I actually, a lot of people give this map mode combination some hate, and I actually really enjoy it. I remember there was a fantastic game that I watched that made me fall in love with it, and it was like FT Win versus I don't remember who. So watching these two teams come together and play is really, really nice. We have another carbon roller. Is it Flingza? Is that a Flingza?
It is a Flingza, yes. Foil Flingza from Ariel. Yes, because it's a fantastic painter, and it's probably one of the lesser utilized strong weapons that isn't quite recognized in the meta. But as far as painting goes, and as far as its kit goes, suction bomb missiles, kind of top tier.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be really nice to see how they handle this and sort of what their usage and positioning for it is, because it could be really good, but oof.
Yeah, oof indeed. Backing up, not quite aware that the Rainmaker shield was behind them, and Zori with a very nice long-range bomb. I said Zori was a backliner, and they are, but pulling out the Sploosh 7, kind of the backliner dilemma these days for Rainmaker, something that Brian has perhaps quite famously made popular, I'm saying. Especially because in the hands of someone with precise aim, that hammer can be pretty devastating. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like Zori's going to be able to get anything from this, and makes the right decision to jump out and stay alive.
Absolutely right decision here. I think sometimes you need to live to fight another day, and it's what we're going to want to continue to see from them here. The scores are pretty close right now. 68 to 46 isn't so bad, but when you're down in these trenches here and that's all that you can kind of push to because you continue to get stopped at that ramp, it's not going to help you take a crazy huge lead. I think what the teams need to maybe focus on is having just enough map control to get it up that left side. I am a girl in love with that left push, and I don't see how this is going to get very far, because that is going to continue to happen over and over again.
So you like to go across mid and up the rail?
I think the rail is the way to go. I really do. Because otherwise you're stuck in this situation here. They got it over to that bottom of that ramp there. They can't get up the stairs because someone comes out from the flank, someone's in front of them, and then someone eventually comes up behind them. So they jump it off the side to reset it to mid, but now you've lost all your map control. Barry, tell me I'm wrong.
Melissa, you are wrong. In my eyes, listen, we're very subjective people around here. No objectivity at all. In my personal opinion, the right side push going up that ramp is the only real way. I think the sustainability of this push is what matters most. Going left sometimes, if everyone's wiped, could be the maneuver maybe once out of every 20 times. But overall, if you get a good push going on that right side and you keep people alive and you allow them to keep popping that Rainmaker over and over, especially if you have, I don't know, say a Suction Bomb Rush coming out from a Neo Splash, that's a fantastic way to get to anywhere from 20 to dunk.
Yeah, if you can make it through that, absolutely. I think what I find that happens more often than not is everyone's expecting you to go that way. So the moment you start moving it, everyone's going to be there. But if you surprise people and push through mid or up left side, you're going to have a little bit of a different opposition of what you're looking at, right? So like right now, everyone is still ready over here. We have aXolt on the left side, on the right side. They're pushing up, they're ready to go through, but Sunshine is doing such a good distraction over here that they're able to take a little bit, and then another pick like that. I don't know. I think this is where maybe if they had, ooh, here you go, Barry. That's what you were talking about. That's sustainability, right?
Yeah, that would have been sustainability if perhaps Sunshine had been a little bit more with them. But I do agree with you. I think that it is important to have one member, I'm not going to say or two members, focusing that left side grates just to make sure that no one flanks out that way from the defending team. Ariel getting a very nice pick there. Looked like it could have been a trade at worst, but somehow walking away with the win in that fight. That is a pretty much team wipe there from HyperFlow. I think Zori is coming back late from spawn, if I'm not mistaken, so even getting to the Rainmaker here to pop it and pick... Oh, never mind, it's been popped.
Ooh. All right,
That's
yeah.
not something I always expect to see late in a game like that.
Me neither, but it worked for them.
It worked. Yeah, it was fine.
Good.
Yeah.
And, hey, it works for them. That's what they want to do. And, I think that they played it really well. And obviously, my subjective opinion is just my subjective opinion.
And my subjective opinion is also very much my subjective opinion. I do have to ask, I'm going to circle back around to how we started this commentary match. You said you really liked this map.
I do.
Because I remember a fantastic Muscle Forge match that might have been between FT Win, but I think it also definitely had Zero's team, whether it was Demise or Quantum at the time, I can't remember. That one was played on tower control, and it was an amazing comeback when one team pushed it to 2 and the other all the way back basically throughout overtime.
Yes, I remember that one for sure. Okay. Yeah. No, this one I was thinking of, it was an FT Win match, and I remember... I think Keo had pushed up across the ramp. First 30 seconds of the match, Keo had pushed up across the ramp, gotten across, Shaq picks up the Rainmaker, hops that rail, and dunks it, and the game is over before you could blink. Literally. And they were playing up against, a really strong team as well, so I remember thinking, what happened? What happened? And
I can tell you what happened.
What happened?
The map happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that map is... You wipe and it's game over. That's why I'm surprised that you like the map.
But it wasn't even a wipe. It was just Keo was being distracting, and they had 3 players up. I think he only took 1 out. It was just so fast because Shaq made that split-second decision of, I'm not even going to wait for anyone to paint right. I'm going left. And just did it. And that was it. And I was because it was so unexpected, because nobody was doing that at the time, I remember just thinking, this is the concepting that we need to see moving forward. People taking risks.
Very true.
And that's why I love this tournament too. I think Low Ink, SAC, Sink or Swim, especially Swim or Sink, because they are consistent. Swim or Spook, thank you, because they're so consistent in how often they run tournaments. It gives everyone an opportunity to really explore and do things that they might not typically always do, and I love that about IPL and the things they do.
listen, I will not knock any tournament for running interesting, unique, unexpected maps, because I am very much about not playing the same map over and over again.
Oh, I bet.
But if I'm going to say subjectively, I think Rainmaker Lesson Forge is not very quality.
But, I mean, also, you know, you come from the player, right? And you have to actually be in the map. And I come from the spectator point of view.
Absolutely. And I am more and more understanding the other side each and every day. And
I will never understand your side. That's okay.
That's not true. We're going to... That's not true. We're going to make you the best competitive player there is. We are waiting on a quick substitution, hopefully quick, of course. But going from one map where we obviously were able to heap plenty of praise on FT Win to another map where we are able to heap plenty of praise onto FT Win for how they play it. Splatzone's The Reef has certainly become one of the most popular Splatzone's maps that we see in tournament. It's right up there with Inkblot and Mako Mart for popularity. Your thoughts on this, and based off of what we saw in that first match, do you feel like either team has a distinct advantage based on the weapons that they've chosen?
I think we're going to see kind of similar play style to what we saw in Rainmaker, in that I feel like it could go back and forth a lot, but the Reef is so much bigger when you consider how far you are from spawn to zone, and I think that might allow them to sort of utilize some of the range on that Flingza. I don't know, you were talking about that splash earlier, right? That would be really useful here. Having the Ultra Stamp is very good because you get range as well. I think my worry is that if one of the teams brings a lot of aggression and changes up, I'm sorry, I don't remember which team brought which last time because I'm always terrible at that. But if they change up and go with a little more range, we might have trouble with the other team coming in underneath them and sort of circumventing what they're going for.
Yeah, again, I know you and I have commented this map a few times before, and you're always absolutely correct with how you analyze it. That so much focus gets dedicated to holding top bridge control. Sometimes the underside of bridge is seldomly appreciated.
You picked my pain point there, Barry. That is the number one thing that bothers me about when people play this map is, I agree, it's been said over and over again and people are like, Melissa, you're crazy for it, but I agree, it's very important to hold bridge, but when you are holding on to bridge and all you're doing is focusing on that, you're losing sight of taking objective and holding on to that zone over and over again. So I really hope that, and I think both teams sort of, I feel like maybe we had aXolt focus a little more on paint than objective last game, so maybe that'll be the case again, but I feel like both of them did a pretty good job of staying on top of where's the Rainmaker, when are we pushing it, what are we doing here, and I think if you can focus on objective, at least one player of your team on this map, everyone else can stay on top of bridge, fine. Have someone in zone, and then you'll be fine. And I think, yeah, you, triggered me.
I can tell. And speaking of paint, I do want to make a quick little mention here before we hop into this match that Low Ink is this week in October 2021, of course. Inkling Performance Labs Low Level Monthly is this weekend. Any player/team with a Ludi seeding of Division 4 and higher or equivalent are banned from this event, so they cannot play. So if you're Div 5 or under, feel free to come on through. Definitely check it out. It's a 2-day event, day 1 being Swiss, day 2 being double elimination of the top 48 from day 1. Make sure to join the IPL Discord for more information. With that said, we are finally into this map here. Double Slosher coming out from the side of aXolt. Love to see the Blob Blubber. I think it's a very strong pick on this map, and of course, utilizing the Bomb Rush. Bomb Rush is almost a necessity these days on Splatoon.
I completely agree. Especially like we were talking about earlier, you know, like paying attention to bridge. Bomb Rush is going to help you under bridge. If you're up there and that's what you have, and you have no way that you're going to be able to get down and hold bridge, your Bomb Rush can be useful for both. So I completely agree with you there. I love watching blob lobbers every time. Like how do you not love that? You know,
Geometry.
armor was just popped and then all of a sudden they're gone.
It's because that you were successful at mathematics in your days of schooling, whereas the rest of us we're simple people. We can't understand geometry entirely very well. But what we can understand is that Ozuna is doing a fantastic job of holding down this side. There's number one for commentator curse. But the armor coming out here from the NZAP, this might allow HyperFlow and friends to push in and get those zones back, but they were only able to neutralize one and still haven't put a penalty onto aXolt. Dangerous times for them.
Absolutely, very dangerous. I think we're just ticking down so quickly. Pre-changes on this map, this right here would have forced HyperFlow and friends to be able to take a little bit of control, but obviously now we're a dual zone map here, so even though you are able to take one, you need to get that second one, which is what Ariel was working on there, in order to switch it over. They do get that. Sunshine looks like trying to get another pick here, gets, I think that was a 3v1, wasn't it?
It did look like they were getting very, very heavily focused, but that's what happens when you play Tetris.
Yeah. And that's why I really like Tetris too, actually. I think the maneuverability and opportunity you have to kind of pop up unexpectedly on people, you know, really using that sharking to your advantage is very interesting. So I love watching them as well. I think the comp that we have from aXolt is one of something I love watching in all effects, and I think they're doing a good job with it. 18 points. Mm-hmm.
And that penalty is starting to go away very, very quickly here. Zora is going to use the missiles, but right now it's really only the armor that's close in terms of other specials to come out, especially now that you have 3 down from the side of HyperFlow and friends, and that armor coming out very much at the last second there. Unfortunately, I say, as that ends up nearly able to find enough to put another penalty back onto aXolt. But it did not happen for them, and to be fair to them, that is a difficult situation. Your team goes down and you're already kind of committed to a fight, but obviously that did not help them for what is going to be one last attempt at a retake here.
Yeah, this is going to be it. I think that they don't have a ton of time to kind of get back in here. They're doing a good job like regrouping when a couple members go down, but I wonder if they're playing a little too safe because they are forgetting about the objective and they're not really, maybe they need to kind of split off and do sort of some 2v2 takeovers and try to hold on to this, but they just didn't have enough there.
No, and that will be 2-0 for aXolt. There was a world where that suction bomb got a double kill and neutralized the zone, but that world is not the one that we live in. Again, I think that HyperFlow and friends have not played poorly here. We see very consistent special usage, which probably indicates that they're using their specials relatively coordinatedly. I want to say, which is usually an indication that you will have success in a match, but it just didn't seem like they were maybe focusing the members of aXolt together, taking a lot of 1v1s, 2v or 1v2s. So very well played from aXolt.
Yeah, it was. It was a really, really nice job there. I'm curious how things are going to change up for tower control. You know, we saw kind of Rainmaker and Splatzone's very completely different play styles, in my opinion, than tower control, and especially like you were talking earlier about the Reef being one of these like quintessential maps. And I think Inkblot Art Academy is one of the other ones we mentioned, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we're gonna get for tower control. Like, will we stay with that blob blobber? Are we gonna get a I don't know. I'm curious what's gonna happen.
Well, I think to see Blob Blobber, as much as the weapon has been revolutionized a little bit by Pika Dave, by Isaac, I think what we have to acknowledge, is that tower control is probably its weakest mode. So I'm not saying that we won't see it again, but considering that Azuna did take a little bit of extra time there to ready up, I would have to imagine that Bloblobber will not be making a return from last match.
I would agree with you. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I love to see it anyway. So, that would be nice. But yeah, I think all signs pointing to no.
That's the expectation. Anyway. We can't. We're just speculating. We can't know.
Yeah, true.
But we kind of know. We kind of know. We will know
more
soon.
Than me.
Sure. I don't mind playing Bloblobber every now and again on tower control, but it is an ambitious play.
I did see a Dynamo though, right?
You did see the Dynamo. Ariel bringing out the Dynamo. Ninja Jump on all 4 members of HyperFlow and Friends. And I like what they're doing here. Plenty of shooters, obviously. Does a really good thing in this meta. And if they're able to find one more pick here, they might be able to start their first push. But doesn't look like anyone's offering a fight.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of hard for them to defend if they do decide to push forward, especially now they're down 2. I think it looked like maybe we were just getting a couple of specials built up there. We did see a splashdown go down. Pozolito over here, sort of sharking around a little bit, does get 1 pick and an assist, which is going to be helpful. And there's someone behind that tower there. I think this is sort of a stalemate right now.
It is a bit of a stalemate, and I really appreciated seeing HyperFlow and Friends. There was a 1v1 going on with the Dynamo fighting a shooter, or maybe it was the Dualies, in fact, and a member of HyperFlow came in, saved the day, helped the Dynamo to stay alive, which is very important. I mean, if you're not coming to help your friends in the 1v1s, then what are you doing?
Yep, you're not doing what you want there. Really nice shot, though, coming out from Moo. Somebody popped up right in front of them, and they reacted very, very quickly to get that moving forward. I think at this point, HyperFlow and Friends gotten through that first checkpoint, which is what they want, and starting this early lead that they need, pushing pretty far up, too. If they can get a couple, I would say just 1 more pick, they would probably feel pretty good. They did get it right there, but everybody else has come back. Oh, it was a trade. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a trade, yeah. And other people have come back as well. They've been trading back and forth here a little bit. I entirely agree with you. If they'd been able to find that 1 pick during the momentum in that push, I think that push would have been able to continue, perhaps even beyond the checkpoint. Moo going for the excellent movement, but not quite able to make it there. But that said, HyperFlow has regained the tower and should be able to make it through this checkpoint.
Nice.
I don't think they're going to find a whole lot more, though.
Yeah, I think at this point, that was a really nice shot by Abby as well. I think Abby's doing a lot of damage with this NZAP here. Not totally what you expect all the time. Especially this one, gonna just kind of farm some armor here and assist here and there, but really riding the tower to the fullest. Hell, it was a lot of missiles that just came down there.
You are clearly not a backliner, because to not expect an NZAP to hold forward on you is, I want to live that life. You're right, those were a lot of missiles, and that was one of the surprising things that I saw from HyperFlow. Usually you would expect to see the NZAP be the armor version, but I think because they have armor coming through the Dynamo, they've opted for the double missile, and to be fair, it seems to be working for them so far. Able to push the tower a little bit further here, moving into the low 30 territory. Probably not going to be able to get a whole lot more. aXolt has been able to focus everyone on their plat very successfully and very coordinatedly, which is not quite a word, but that's okay.
I think they are doing a really good job, like you said, their coordination. They're paying attention to where positioning is, when they can use it to their advantage. The really nice lead that HyperFlow and Friends is going to be in jeopardy. Well, I thought it was going to be in jeopardy there, but Moo doing a nice job getting back on that tower and holding it down just long enough for the rest of the team to respawn. Ariel is terrifying with this here. I mean, I love watching Dynamos play. There's always been like a soft spot in my heart for them, and really Ariel is just cleaning up.
Yes, Ariel is definitely one of the best dynamos in the West, as far as I know. We can name quite a few: Chris, Bigfoot, Vanessa, Mixter. The list goes on. But Ariel is definitely right on up there with them. So always love seeing them play in it. Obviously, we saw them playing Flingsa earlier, but Dino just hits a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, in a couple ways, but yes,
and
absolutely.
More, yeah.
So I think this is a strong potential that HyperFlow and friends are going to be able to hang on to this game here. They've done such a nice job of keeping aXolt as far away from moving this tower as possible. And I don't know, when you like analyze this, what changed, right? Like, we didn't have a lot of change in gameplay, and was it just because this is like tower control and now they didn't feel as comfortable moving forward because they didn't have the map control? I don't know, but this was a really good game for HyperFlow and friends.
That was, again, very well played from them this time around, and I was actually deep in thought on the exact same question. Why didn't we quite see that coming out from them on Muscle Forge, Rainmaker, on Splatzone's Reef? And I'm also, something that I thought about deep in my mind is in a play all three format. Once you've taken two, you kind of probably do relax if you're the team who's in the winning position, whereas the team who's just lost twice, they at least want to walk away with some sort of boost, I guess. You don't want to get 3-0'd. So I think obviously everything to play for in the first matches as well, but going into that third match when you've already decided that you've won the set, I think aXolt maybe just taking a little bit taking their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. That's how I view it anyway.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Saving their strength a little bit for their next set, and kind of, maybe they were also testing out a couple things. I didn't totally see anything that would have been very different for me, but maybe it was something that was out of the ordinary for them.
We'll never know.
We will never know. But before we go to another break here, I did want to just throw a quick shill out there for Inkling Performance Labs. There are still staff applications open, always looking for additions to the production and commentary teams, as well as tournament staff. You could be us right here. So definitely go ahead and hit the link that's going to be in the chat in a second to fill out one of those forms if you are interested. We also have a calendar that's popping up right now, so you can see all the great things that are going on. Today, we are on the 20th. We are on Swim or Spook, and we will have you mentioned earlier, Barry, Low Ink coming up this weekend. Great opportunity for everybody to play. So really get those get registered if you're Div 5 or below, right? That was what yes, Div 5 or below. So definitely worth it.
And of course, maybe you aren't exactly looking to get involved in the behind the scenes or even necessarily play, but if you enjoy what IPL does, definitely make sure to check out their Patreon as well. To consider supporting them in what they do.
Yes. Great opportunity to do so. So, that being said, we are going to go to a quick break and we will be right back. Thank you.
Lovely. Yeah, I don't know. Wait.
All right, here we are. We are back. We are going to be watching Inked and Party Doge, which is a really cute name and a very cute icon. I love that. That's so fun.
It is a very good icon. Did you?
Right?
We're gonna go way off topic if I bring this up, but I'm pretty sure it's Shiba means dog, right?
Yeah, I think
or
so.
Inu means dog. Anyway, I don't know. So I've heard people say like a Shiba dog or Inu dog, and it's redundant. Anyway, completely off topic. Moving back to what actually matters, which is the Splatoon, although dogs matter too. We will get to see Group F here. I want to check the bracket and see how these two teams have performed and what they're fighting for here. Looks like both of them lost their matches in round 2, and in round 1 they are fighting for their first win tonight. Okay,
Ooh.
One of these teams will not go undefeated. There's too many words, I couldn't figure out how to say it. But one of these two teams will get their first set win here of the night. I'm excited to see which it'll be. If I'm gonna be honest, I have to put it on the Ink D, I think.
Is it Ink D, not Inked, or Inked?
Mm.
Ink D. I could call him Ink D. What? You make a decision and I'll follow.
Well, the decision from the voice on high is Inked.
Okay.
Mm. So we should probably
Inked.
follow that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The voice on high knows all.
Yes. Always.
That said, I will say that I do recognize a few players from Party Doge, and even though they're coming out with a bit of a stranger comp, usually you don't see like a Clash and a Tent fighting together, they do have some very talented players. So we'll see if they're able to coordinate it here and make use of this interesting conceptual comp.
Yeah, maybe they're trying out. Maybe they're testing some things for Shopping Spree, right? Maybe that's.
No, it ends up in a custom jet illegal.
Oh yeah, no, that wouldn't work. Nope. All right.
Nope.
Well, they're doing something here, and we do have a Bloblobber that's making it very difficult for them to go any further than mid, at least for Gem over here, who's just trying to ink a couple spaces and get some things going. Looks like they are ready to push forward 4 specials online on Inked. Barry, we get the bubbles out, that armor popped.
The Ink Storm came out, and the Booyah Bomb, as long as they don't go down to that 10 umbrella, should be joining them as well. But they don't really have a football already. They have 5 of them here on the Bloblobber, and they've only just now created one. There's still one Sharking back here who could, well, they won't be able to stop the football from being scored, and they won't be able to stop anything else, but they've at least slowed down this push a little bit, forcing that last player to jump away, and we do unfortunately see a disconnect from the Coil Squeezer. I am not familiar with the DC rules, but based on someone standing around there, I'm going to say that
I think it's a replay. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the rules are, but I do remember being somewhere a similar time frame to this, and it was a replay before. So looks like they are knocking it out real quick and gonna set it up to be done again, which is good. But I was wondering too, before my brain realized it was a disconnect, I'm like, hey, they just disappeared. I was like, nobody splatted them. There's no color there. Oh, well.
Listen, okay. Melissa, I know you've been away from Splatoon for a little while here, but Nogami introduced a new ability. It's called Poof. It's a very magical ability.
Hey, sounds like a really good special to me. Exactly what you want. You know, you just... like teleportation, right? Like super jump, except you just end up somewhere random on the rest of the map.
Well, where players are testing out different comps here, Nintendo is also testing out different specials for Splatoon 3. So we have, of course, our Zipcaster. We have our, whatever the new stingray is called, the Big Bubbler. But yes, Poof, coming to Nintendo shops soon, featured in Splatoon 3. Hopefully, we see a lot less of it.
Paid DLC, right?
I think the DLC is dependent on your router.
Totally could be. We did get the DC rules, the game will be finished if there's less than 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, or the team without the DC is 50 units or closer to a knockout, not including penalties. So, makes sense why we're going to replay this here, and we're just waiting for that player to come back into the lobby here. So I prefer, usually, when there is a DC, when I have to preface, when I'm running a tournament, when there's a DC, the teams cannot change up their comp. And I believe that's usually the rule, but I know that in the past, we have seen teams kind of come in after a DC, they know what the other team is playing, and they will make a couple of adjustments. How do you feel about that?
Very poorly. If as a player, I think, I mean, first off, if given those DC rules, I don't really think that there's enough time to feel like you can justify any sort of adjustments. Forget the morals behind it, right? Just like the actual practice of it. Does it improve your ability to contest whatever the other team is running against? I just don't think you have enough time to make that decision to say, like, yeah, we're really weak against the 10, but also they have 10 in their name. So if you're not expecting 10, I don't know what to tell you. No, I think, I obviously always want to see people ready up almost instantly in situations like this. To not see that makes me a little bit suspicious of them. Hopefully it's just, refocusing. But personally, I think even changing gear would be considered a little bit scummy.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling on it. I feel like it's just really dishonest. You need to know. You already know what you're gonna get, and yeah, I could see where you're coming from in terms of like maybe you don't have time to like reframe of what that's gonna look like, but I completely agree. I think it's kind of a not the best way to do things. So we'll see what they'll be able to do with everybody back in the game here, and kind of coming up together, because that was a pretty nice like first opening push that we saw. That new player.
Yes. And this is probably the one situation where that idea of do you change your comp at all gets a little bit blurry. I think you still have to play the same of the three players who are in there. But if obviously, not everywhere in the world has the same quality of internet, and that is not, of course, any player's fault.
Right.
It's challenging sometimes to get good internet. And sometimes you just can't afford good internet either. So not a problem with the player. So this is a different player coming in here. It is not a weapon swap, but we do want to make that clear. It is a player swap in addition to a weapon swap, but I do think that is fair for the new player. You can't expect them to play something as challenging as Foil Squeezer just out of the blue, especially if that's not their main.
Yep, I completely agree with you too. So I think that it's going to be good to see kind of what they'll be able to change out here. I'm really excited to see what we'll get. We did have kind of an early nice break before. If we'll get something like that similar here, or if changing up this player might potentially just change the way the whole game goes.
It will be... For me, thinking about a concept... Oh, well, we have another disconnect. But you only get one, so I believe this match is...
team?
It is the same team, yes. So this is going to continue on, which is very unfortunate. A different player this time, disconnecting here. Of course, one of the challenges was that their range on Inked came in, coming into the last match before the first disconnect was the squeezer, and that was basically it. I guess the blah blobber could qualify as a little bit of range, but now they have a Tri-Slush Nouveau in its place. Had this continued to be a 4v4, I think that lack of range might have made it difficult to deal with the tent and the jet.
Yeah.
Now we're back to the we'll never know.
We never will. I do think, though, in general, like, Blob can sometimes be a pretty good answer for 10, because it can sort of arc around, but you're right that it doesn't they don't really have the range that they necessarily need. So I'm curious how they'll be able to pull it off. If there's any mode that a 3v4 could potentially be successful, it's clams. So
Is it?
I think so, yeah, because you can get within that chaos really quickly and make some really sneaky plays that nobody expects. Whereas I think it's a lot harder in splat zones for sure, but Rainmaker, you're always going to have people ready to defend, tower control. They're just going to stay right on top of that objective. But because Clam Blitz, you can kind of lose sight of like, hey, I'm not defending my basket right now, somebody's pushing forward. I think this is the one mode that I would feel most confident in being like, hey, this could potentially change things up.
Well, I was going to argue the opposite, but as you've been talking about it, Inked has actually been creating a push of their own, and they will not be able to get enough of a push to get lead here, but they did at the very least put some points on the board, which does allow them an opportunity to get back into this. And in the time that it took for Party Doge to take care of the players on Inked, Inked, the last member, or the first member who came back, was able to take out the football carrier. 2 of them actually now. So I would have disagreed with you initially, but we're seeing the results that say Clam Blitz could be the mode where 3v4 is still potentially the most winnable.
I think like you should never kind of give up, right, on a 3v4 because there's always a chance, right? But I think in this mode is where most chaos reigns supreme. And, you know...
I think that's Rainmaker. I think Rainmaker is the most chaotic.
Really? You think Rainmaker is more chaotic than Clam Blitz?
Maybe not more chaotic, but I think like the cheese level.
Okay, yes, totally cheese level for sure. But I think in terms of like unexpectedness, not like, you know, because you can cheese something and like that's an expected cheese. But like when you get, hey, this is totally unexpected. I didn't expect this to happen. And this is now creating a world of chaos that I can't deal with. That's clams to me.
That's amore. I do agree with you. In my experience, it's always been a bit easier to win the 3v4s in the other modes. Just because, from my perspective on saying this, is that Clam Blitz requires numbers. Because you can go and you can get that quad to set your team up, but you can't go and get that quad and create a football and go and pick up all the clams. Maybe in competitive, it's a little bit different where you can do comms and say, hey, we need clams, someone focus that. Oof. I'll just keep getting picks. But certainly in the most common mode, solo queue, I think 3v4s are impossible to win, or nearly impossible.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. They're still nearly impossible for sure, and I think that it's really tough. But we're in overtime right now, Barry, which.
We're in overtime because it's a formality where if you have a pity clam.
Yeah, but look at this. Some dude about to pick up all these clams here.
And they will be able to make a football. But is there enough time? There is enough time.
Honestly, though, like, I don't know. They have a pity clam over there. They got to get some really, really good picks. Nope, not going to do it. There's no jump that can be made here. Oh, come on. I was so hoping to...
You would have been able to hold that over me for years to come, had you called this as the best potential mode to win the 3v4. Again, unfortunate, of course, on the part of Inked to have not just this disconnect, but the disconnect before that. But they did put in a great fight, and of course, you were absolutely right. You should never give up in a 3v4, especially since they've already used up their one disconnect replay. So unfortunate for them, but I do imagine that we will I think they have a large roster.
I think they do, yeah.
They have a very large roster. So hopefully we get to see one of their 8 members come on in here. And I think we have a return of the blob.
I think, I don't know. I would anticipate that it might not be the player. It might be a host thing if we're getting 2 players on the same team, but I don't know. Maybe it's just bad luck for the team.
Well, whatever it is, we obviously hope to see all players remain connected and have their internet remain stable throughout the match, because that's what is best for the viewing experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the player experience, you know, they want to be able to play to their best potential.
And as far as opponents go, you don't want to just have a 3v4 and win that way. You want to be challenged.
Yeah. You know, they could always choose to have one player sit out if they wanted to.
They could. That might be a little bit too kind.
I know. I'm the only one who would do that. But, I mean, I think, you know, we're looking into the potential of being able to get a full game with all the team players coming in here, Rainmaker on Sturgeon Shipyard. I'm sure you have a lot of real specific feelings about this map too, Barry.
I actually rate this map very highly. I think it's one of the most interesting Rainmaker maps in the game. Between the several different routes that you can take the Rainmaker and pretty good defensive options too. I think this is actually a map that should kind of be a staple point of how to play Rainmaker.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And I meant strong feelings in good or bad way. Like,
yes.
That this is like a good, strong feeling. And I completely agree with you. I love watching Rainmaker on this map. I think there's just so many opportunities to create good plays, really nicely done. And I say that and I was like, what just happened there?
I could not help but laugh at the fact that some dude chucked an Inkstorm at the person who was shooting at them. It does not do damage that way, but you know, you get caught out in that moment throwing your special out. It happens. I've been there as well. A good first push, though, from Inked. 50 is probably not going to be nearly enough to hold all the way through this match for the game-winning lead. I think, realistically, there's too many different options. Going up block through the other team's court, going up left jump, going up sponge. All of them can get you beyond 50 if you are able to get just far enough. So 50, while it's good, probably not going to be game winning.
I agree with you there. Really nice kind of, was that a crush by the tent there?
It was a nice shot, a nice little flick, but the splat bomb coming in there was, I wasn't expecting that, and I don't think tent was either. So, unfortunate trade for them. Most tent players there running some QR and are back pretty darn quickly.
Exactly what you want to see there. The Stingrays are being built really quickly as well. I'm very happy to see how Dally Tim, I guess, is doing a nice job kind of keeping that pressure on. It looks like we're getting the first push from Party Doge 2 down on Inked. They do not get it very far, but Tent is here potentially going to be able to provide a safe spot, I guess, for somebody to jump in if they need. I love using the bubbles as cover, but doesn't look like any of the teammates decided to do that.
And this is one of the things I love and hate about temp players is there were so many shenanigans in that. So from a spectator perspective, it's just amazing to watch them live as long as they did. From a player perspective, it is terrible knowing that that might be what you have to deal with at any given moment.
Over and over and over again?
Yes. It was... Go ahead.
No, go for it.
It was very impressive movement by them to even just get up there and try to keep that push alive. Unfortunately, though, Party Doge not able to continue that push any further. They still have plenty of time left here with 2 minutes remaining, and should they not get caught out by that flank, which was good on some dude's part, we did see the try coming behind Party Doge on that last push of theirs. Now that they've found the picks, there's no one behind them, so they have open real estate ahead as long as they're able to take out a few members of Ink.
Looks like they're working on that. They do take down, that's 3 down. I was like about to say 2, and then there we go, the 3. The bubble's coming out in order to offer some protection here. They take the lead right there. Really nice, pushing this all the way to the podium with 11. Fantastic push by them.
Yeah, now that's the type of push that can win you a game, and I think even probably more than a win. Well, actually, the C's able to get 3 out of that. It's just Dally Tim left here on Party Doge, who is going to run for the hills as the good backliner should when you're 3 down. But again, absolutely how you want to run this map. I think, again, there's just so many different routes that you can go. And we saw them take one of the stronger ones, I would say.
Yes, I agree. I think... I mean, that lead was so helpful to them because now Inked has to really pay attention and be much more aggressive than I think they had been playing previously so far. So they're going to try to push us up the left side. But like you were talking about earlier, how tough it is to watch a 10 player stay alive through all of your ink that's coming at them. It might be... Ooh, they go down. Okay, that's it. There we go.
And another one going down there, the splash being taken out. They're going to have to slow this down a little bit, but that ray is going to be devastating here for Inked, unfortunately. You know, a lot of people feel a certain way about Ray. I have not helped make the Ray any less than what it is. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take some responsibility for Ray being hated.
I mean, you should. That's okay. Yeah, you are responsible for it in some way. But you know what? It's been the GG Ray for a long time because I think it's literally what it does, and that's exactly what it did right there. Potentially, maybe they could have pushed that a little bit further had that Ray not come out, had they not had to stumble. Maybe they would have made it, but it's still, they had a long way to go to get to 11, and I think that they played it really well for what they did, and no one DC'd, so wins all around.
That is definitely a big win, the no disconnect, and of course, can't just say that, you know, a little bit unlucky on the part of Inked. Party Doge did an amazing job to get the lead that they got. That Stingray may not have come down to the difference, to be the difference maker at the very end of the match there. It could have just been that the mountain was too insurmountable to overcome.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. So we'll see what they'll be able to overcome, though, on Splatoon's on Wahoo World. Another great map for Tent here, to be honest. I think Dynamo and Tent work so well here because the zone is so small. It's so small. You can literally stand in the center and spin around with your roller and it's covered. Like, there's no... But that's why I love it, too. Because the take-back opportunity is huge on these. So I'm very much looking forward to what we're going to get from them here.
And one thing that we really didn't get to talk too much about from Inked was that they brought out the double splatling. Now, I'll grant you, I think we weren't able to witness that in the first match because of how the disconnect happened, and you can't change your comp after that, right? But I genuinely really like it, having that remix and then a shorter range one, whether it's the Mini or the Nautilus here. I love seeing that because one thing that has a lot of potential, I think, is confusing your opponent as to which weapon they're fighting. Sometimes when I'm fighting against two chargers, I won't know if I'm fighting against the Swiffer or if I'm fighting against the Splat charger. And obviously you have to approach those types of weapons very differently. Same thing can go for Nautilus versus Remix. If you think you're fighting the Nautilus, so you push up a little bit more, and you walk into the Remix's fire, that's not a good time.
No, it's not. But that's a really good point. I like that, you know, the mental game that's there too. I think that that's very, very true, that if you can confuse your opponent for, hey, what's actually going on right here, that's going to be tough. There's a real good answer to your Tent staying alive forever.
Yeah, the bubbles, the 10, the tennis shield, all of it getting crushed there by that Ultra Stamp. Ultra Stamp probably still not utilized quite to the level it could be. So definitely enjoy seeing it, especially coming out from the Kenza Octo Brush. Another weapon that could probably be utilized a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so too. I think especially in this kind of situation where the map is small enough where you can use that maneuverability to get around very quickly, that's obviously a huge benefit to a brush as well. So I would expect to see them flanking a bit more, but we'll certainly see what they continue to do. The zone has stayed in neutral for quite a bit of time right now. Yeah. Oh,
And
there
it
we
will
go.
actually be the tent that we see flanking first before the Octobrush. I think Batson did an excellent job to stay alive throughout that sequence. Unfortunately, though, that recall getting punished and Tent just pushing in here, getting more and more aggressive. This is, again, one of... It's probably more so thought of as a support weapon, but realistically, it has great Slayer potential in the right hands.
It does, and I think that's kind of being proven right now too, that, you know, we've seen some really fantastic work coming out as well. This, I think, Barry, is where Inked has really shown today, shown, whatever the proper past tense is. They've held on to this zone really well. Yeah, they really are, and, you know, they're timing their specials, that shot, wonderful. Like, forcing all of this movement out as well is really fantastic. I'm very impressed with what we've been seeing.
Yeah, and of course, those impact inkjets can definitely make a massive difference. It wasn't just the one pick, but it was also forcing the player situated behind the pillow to jump out. That said, that Booyah Bomb was very unfortunate for Batson, and it's given an opportunity here for Party Doge to push in, and they are doing so with reckless abandonment, taking out another 2, and are looking in a great position to potentially get leave here.
Yeah, they really are. I think this is what I was worried about, and I totally cursed them, and I'm very sorry.
But
Ooh.
But that Ultra Stamp coming out onto zone and taking out 2, along with the armor, will definitely give Inked the great pushback in here, and Batson coming back, able to get a little bit of revenge on the 10th player with the stab in the back.
I liked that a lot from Batson because the tent was sharking around and kind of came from their side, and Batson's like, oh no, you're not going to stay here. And when you have control of your own area and you feel really good about something, that helps you control everything else. So I think that's really good for them. Nice maneuverability too, knowing potentially that bomb was coming, or if that was just good timing, not sure. They need to be super careful though, because they're in the teens for this penalty. There's only 14 points between that and the lead, so I'm getting a little worried for them now.
I'm not worried because they have 4 specials ready to go, and you could just see it lining up. First came the Booyah Bomb, then came the Inkjet, then came the armor, and finally the Ultra Stamp. It had retake written all over it. And they did it to perfection, getting an instant double, I think, whether it was off the stamp or the inkjet, I'm not quite sure, but very excellent work, and at this point they just have to avoid this tense bubbles, retaking the zone, and they should be able to get a win here.
They certainly should. I think that this is their moment, and maybe if this set had been rearranged a little bit differently, they would have felt different, but they had nothing to lose, so they went in on that one, and I was very impressed to be able to watch them take that.
Yeah, I think back to that first match on Clams at Piranha Pit, the disconnects, again, having one in the first match and then one in the replay as well, was not very kind to Inked, but I'd say they played very well. A very strong push coming out from Party Doge at Sturgeon, helping secure that set win here, but taking a map off of Party Doge there, very good work there from Inked.
Really, really nice job. Very fun match to watch, and I hope that they're able to get all their internet issues worked out so that they don't have any more disconnects throughout the tournament today. If they do, if they are kind of moving on there. So that
every Doge has its day. Every Doge has its day.
Very true. Very true. Especially every Party Doge.
Yes, every Party Doge. We will be taking a quick little break here before we move on to the further brackets, moving out of Swiss. But before we do so, we do want to shill one little tournament that you should be knowing about upcoming. It's called Trick No Treat, and it is an open level tourney that features maps that don't typically see the day of light. Maps that get banned from every map list, like Mori Towers, like Kelp Dome, and Arowana Mall, making a frightening return to terrify the player base. Experience the horror through 3 rounds of groups into a top 8 single elimination bracket If you're brave enough to take on this challenge, make sure that you check out the Deep Sea Solutions Discord. You'll be able to play this on October 30th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Ooh, it sounds like a good time. Perfect opportunity to get your spooky on, and gonna be a lot of fun. 2 of my most hated maps in there, so I'm
But
not.
one of your most loved.
I know. I was like trying to figure out, does this balance? But Kelp Dome is the grossest map in the world, so I don't think I would even play that for Moray Towers.
Well,
So.
We're not doing a good job of selling it if you're going to write off Kelp Dome like that. So,
hey, other people love it, You just.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just not me.
I'm one of those people.
I know you are. Anyone who plays the backline, you will do fantastic in this, because you have Moray Towers with that range, you have Kelp Dome with that range, and
you have
Arowana.
It's a good time for backliners. Come on through.
It's a really good one for backliners, yeah. So we hope to see all of you go sign up for that and enjoy it, and we hope to see you back in just a few minutes. Hello, hello, welcome back, Barry. I heard that you are a fan of a couple of one of the players that we're about to see. Is this true? Are you being biased?
Well, I might be a fan of all the players by the time we're done here, but I
true.
certainly am familiar with Bobbity Boopy, aka Evil 2K Boopy. Booples is a very, very talented Splash, formerly, potentially, maybe still, Sploosh player, who the aggression and the consistency that I see from them is always top-notch. So, excited to see what they can do here. Of course, they are playing for Evil Tuki, and they'll be facing off against Garfield's Halloween Adventure, just the best name in the entire tournament.
Yep.
If we're being honest, they should be getting first place immediately. Disappointed that this tournament's still occurring with a name like that, and it hasn't been called a formality. But I guess you have to play the maps anyway.
Yep. I mean, they have to do something for the time slot that they've allotted, you know.
Exactly. And for this portion of the time slot, we will be seeing a best of 5 tower control anchovy is where we'll be kicking it off. You like this map? I can't remember.
I don't hate it. I'm indifferent. I guess, like, I'm not a fan of tower control in general. Like, it's my least favorite mode. I know
Hurtful.
I know. I'm sorry. I was about to say
okay.
it. I know
it's
that
okay.
but
I'm strong enough.
This map is really fun, and I think if I have to play tower control, I would prefer on this map because it's open. I feel like there's so much opportunity for people to come around and shark and really take advantage of a lot of the angles, but it still feels really open. You know, you don't feel like you're gonna get caught somewhere necessarily.
I think a big part of that is that the flanking opportunities on this map are fairly limited. Most people, their flank is pushing over fan to the other team's snipe, which is not a bad flank, but it's a very obvious flank.
Right.
Anyone who attempts to go for that far right push, going around the long way, even if they are successfully sneaky, it doesn't mean that they'll walk away with anything. As we see Joe here on the 52, getting good control of Garfield's Halloween Adventures fan. That's a long name. I probably can only say Garfield for the rest of the set. Team Garfield is going down, though, relatively quickly here. And this should be the first checkpoint for Evil Tuki.
It is, and I think they're doing a really nice job of kind of pushing through to that. They have some really good map as well. We're getting a couple of players that are trying to come up and stop this, but that Stingray is going to offer some protection. We do have one player go down from Archer over here, and the tower now making its way through the close is going to have a tough time unless you get picks like that, Joe, and continue to defend and help your team kind of move forward as much as possible with those sneaky maneuvers.
Yeah, that 52 gal nerf showing clear as day right here. But when you have the amount of turf that they have already on Garfield's snipe, it makes it very difficult to push back in here. And this is one of those maps that can definitely get away from you way too fast if you're not using your specials to slow down this push.
I agree. I think it feels like they're not really staying alive enough to even be able to build those specials, and maybe that'll change right now. Nope. I was going to say, well, that we had 2, but nope.
Yeah, Boople's able to get that trade. Does allow the Charger to get picked off of that tower, but this third checkpoint has already begun to be broken. It's not anywhere near going all the way through, and I think it is finally end of the push here for Evil Tuki, but we're already halfway through this entire match, and Garfield has unfortunately not registered a point, and they have so much map to take back here.
They do. I mean, orange is Garfield's color, so maybe we'll get a couple of little bit of help right there, right? But what they need to do... True. Which, you know...
would be a big nerf, but you're right. The orange paint is the buff, but unfortunately for them, even though it's not Monday, Joe is still here, and that is nerfing the members of Garfield more than anything else at the moment, it would seem. Great work there from the other 52 to take down Joe and get another trade there onto Booples, but I don't know that that's going to be enough to stop this push entirely, especially with that player getting away.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. They do have the opportunity to take this tower. We have a player riding the tower right now from Garfield, and Violet. It's supposed to be like Violet, but cute, right? Violet is pushing forward here. Does go down to Boopy, just like you said. Creepy Boops right there. I don't know. I'd be a little terrified facing them down as well.
I mean, anyone who substrafes like this is, you don't want to face them. You can tell that's confidence right there.
That movement, yeah. Even the jumps, like, there's just so much good movement going on here. Definitely a player that, you know, I had yet to learn about until today, but I'm very happy that I do. Even this little fight right there.
It's such an important fight, too. The way they rotated back there, Mr. Z, their charger, under pressure. And even though the charger went down, they haven't given up control of their snipe because of that rotation back. Goes down to an unfortunate suction bomb, and this might be a poor choice here from Joe to try to push in and solo stop this tower. Will get punished for it, but again, the whole point of that massive lead that you build up is that you can patiently wait for for Garfield to push in a little bit too far and punish them for that.
And it looks like they certainly are trying to do that. We get a trade over on that right side. If Joe can take out that player there, yes. So now Violet is all by themselves. Does use the suction bomb on the tower and survives that ray, which I'm very, very impressed to see, but has to back off as they're the only one alive, and it's just not going to be a good idea to push forward at that point.
Yeah, I was impressed too that they were able to survive the ray. Almost as impressed as I am by the fact that you were maintaining using the name Violet instead of Violet. But what's possibly most impressive of all is that this game is not over yet. I thought it was all said and done, but this Booyah Bomb has given them another opportunity here. It's not going to be quite enough, but they pull it back to 4 points. Is an excellent attempt there from Garfield's Halloween Adventure.
That was so good right at that last second. I think like 3 of them went down. I blinked and I missed it. But, you know, probably to that Booyah, as you were mentioning, right?
Well, the Booyah Bomb was coming in from Garfield.
Side.
Yeah. So that was their measure of protection to defend the Tower Rider. But unfortunately, it was not quite enough, or maybe just a tad bit too early, although you can't really wait in a situation like that.
It's going to be awesome to see.
Yeah, very, very good stuff there. Because for the first half of that push, we really didn't see much out of Garfield's Halloween Adventure. It was one-sided in the favor of evil Tuki, but to see that resilience there definitely bodes well for the rest of the set.
Yeah, if they're a late play team, like a late game team,
I love those.
Yeah, me too. That's why I was like, oh, that's going to be so much fun to watch, because once they get, like, oh, you think, oh, this is it, this is the game, like, it's over, and then all of a sudden they come around, they twist it on you. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Flair for the dramatic scenes that we have.
Yeah. So that's going to be really exciting to see, especially going into Clam Blitz on Humpback Pump Track. I can English. These map mode combination is probably one of my favorites for Clam Blitz, and I know everyone hates it because it's short. You don't have a lot of opportunity to go anywhere, but that's why I like it, because the play flips back and forth so fast. You have to be paying attention, or you're not going to get anywhere.
I like this one actually because it neutralizes any weapon that shoots straight, which is actually kind of what I play, which is chargers. But it definitely changes the weapons that it should change the weapons that we'd see. It hasn't changed the weapons very much. I am surprised not to see any sloshers coming out from either of these teams. But shooters do rule supreme these days.
They certainly do. I hope in the Splatoon 3 we're going to get a switch up on that. But for now, we certainly shall be facing off this. We get the kind of dueling Booyah bombs right there for a second. And this power clam is picked up. We have 3 loose ones over on that right side, but a couple people defending under this basket is going to make it tough for Archer to move forward, and they have to move back quite a bit. Not very far to go from mid to basket, so that won't necessarily be a problem. But with the power clam, they're a target.
That they are, but they're an Enzap who is certainly used to staying alive, and they're currently waiting for the rest of their team to have some specials ready so that they can pop that armor. It comes out now. Hopefully they're able to turn this into a push, but maybe it's just going to be used to live. Although running into the fire of 3 or 4 people, not usually the way you go about staying alive there. And this Booyah Bomb here from Garfield's Halloween Adventure, not going to get a pick either. So very, very back and forth, but no one really able to make a whole lot of progress so far.
Yeah, I think they're going for this. Boopy Furry goes and does break that basket, and unfortunately with that, though, the entire team is going to get wiped, which is fine if that's what you're going for. You know, that opening push, 80 points. Lots of players do this. This is what you want to do. Just get some points on the board here. We'll offer Pity Clam over to Garfield's Halloween Adventure there, and they'll have an opportunity to run it back. But they got to get through the defense that Evil Tuki has been putting up so far.
Yeah, and perhaps one of the most fun picks that we haven't really highlighted enough yet is the Vanilla Jet, which has obviously gained a lot of popularity due to its success seen in the Japanese scene. But really good for a map like this, where you can basically just throw down a Toxic Mist or two and prevent anyone from pushing the only 2 real entranceways to this basket.
I love Toxic Mist. I don't know if we've ever discussed this, but... You what?
That's very toxic of you.
I know. It is. I know. And I'm not a very toxic person. So
no, you're not. You're the opposite.
One toxic thing I like, maybe that's okay. Especially when the name is toxic. But I think it's just so useful in these situations, like you mentioned, you know, throw down a Toxic Mist right in front of that basket. You're going to cause everybody to kind of wait around and not have an opportunity to move forward. Speaking of move forward, I don't quite know what's going on right now.
Well, I would say that right now everyone is contesting for mid, but no one's giving up anything, really. It's just a matter of... We haven't. I think right now we haven't seen 2 or 3 specials being coordinated from Garfield's Halloween Adventure. It feels like everyone is popping their special once and then twice. But now, for the first time, we see a Booyah Bomb, the missiles, and the armor all going out at once. There are 2 down on the side of Evil Tuki. Even though the NZAP did die, if this 52 gal can get a useful flank or at least a good distraction off, that might allow an opportunity to push in here and break the basket. But I think they're just going a little bit too slowly, although maybe... when you can just flick around like that and get the 2-tap, maybe slow is the way to play.
Maybe. I was kind of... Oh, no. Okay, they get another one in. That's okay. They are able to break that. It looks like... not sure Violet is going to be able to do that there, but I was sort of wondering when I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on. It looked like they had some clearance because nobody was paying quite enough attention and they were kind of close enough to be able to make that push, but it might have been an optical illusion as really good cleanup did come out from Evil Tuki here. Great push from Garfield. I think that they did a fantastic job pushing in, breaking that down to 47. Exactly what you want to see with only 30 seconds left of the game, and that kind of goes against our theory a little bit, maybe.
No, it's working perfectly for us because they're the late play team.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were talking Evil Tuki being late play. Yeah, Garfield's Adventure, late play team here, and.
But maybe Evil Tuki will be the late play team.
Yeah, we still
They
have
do have the
time.
clams now. They have 21 clams at the ready. Even though they are 1 down, they're not in a terrible spot for this, but they need to find a pick or 2 to open things up.
They do, and I think that Boopy Furry over here has some assistance, but unfortunately, sideways,
The 1v1.
the distraction.
And Archer winning that 1v1 will even the score here. That palm scared me. That palm scared me. With the splash ball too. Even it up at 1 apiece. Very good work there from Garfield's Halloween Adventure. It looked like it wasn't going to be quite enough, especially the way that push started, missing the football. It's happened to everyone, but it's obviously not ideal. And then the clams started to trickle in. I think a lot of credit has to be, wow, this is Violet, your name is messing us all up so much, but I know it's Halloween themed. This is the scary part for commentators. Credit needs to be given there to Violet, who stayed alive for a lot longer than they should have been able to, and continue to throw in clams. Clams that not only allowed their teammates to come back and respawn and set up for any sort of defense that they needed to hold against Evil Tuki, but it also made it really slow for the clamps to respawn for Evil Tuki to pick up and create some footballs off of. Because I think about maybe 10 seconds before overtime, Evil Tuki was looking at about 6 or 7 clams total, and that obviously was not going to be enough for them to make a push off of.
It certainly wasn't. I think that they had to do exactly what they did, and you're right, that defense was done really well, saving some time. Sometimes, defense can be played by playing offense. I feel like that's a putz term, and I hate myself for it. But if you can really control what's going on in front of you, you can worry less about what's going on behind you. And I think they did a really nice job of that. I am looking forward to this, though, because I think now we're going to be we got that Splat Charger? Fire Friend?
Just Splat Charger.
Splat Charger.
Using the Stingray, which I am always a big fan of.
I know you are.
And Mr. Z is also a very good charger as well. So they are able to find that opening pick, and even though there's already a splash ball pushed up on the bunker, it doesn't look like the 52 Gal has been able to push up with that, which would be terrifying as a charger if they had.
It certainly would be. It certainly would be.
Like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Right there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Case
there
in
you
point.
Go. Yep. And even now, they've done a really nice job kind of creating a 2v2 situation. If they can get that, nope, Joe is able to clean that up and going to hold down mid, push forward a little bit, and wait for somebody to pop. No, Violet, really nice job there.
Yeah, I don't think, I think we all were able to see that little shimmer of ink when Violet moved, but I'm surprised that they were able to walk away with the kill and not get got themselves.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Not get got, exactly. Speaking of getting got, though, we do have the Rainmaker gotten by Evil Tuki. I'm trying. Moving up my favorite side of this map, which is that right-hand side, but the Stingray comes out, which might make it a little more difficult. I saw it for a second. Now it's gone.
It was brief.
It was brief? Okay.
But it was there. It was there. It's there no more, though. Archer able to get 2. Very, very good. And they've driven the splash all the way back to the street. So even the... I'm a little bit surprised they picked up that quickly. I would have expected them to paint up a little bit and wait for a teammate to pick that up and push it on over. But I suppose in that situation, kind of good to get it across mid. So that, this is devious here from Booples.
We both saw that sitting there and this is going to be rough, and exactly what happened. Boopy did go down after that, but even still just stopping that push in its tracks, exactly what you want to see, and that's where, as commentators, we get to see the fun stuff right there.
We do. Knowing what's going to happen before it happens is possibly the best part about getting to spectate. I think you were starting to touch on your favorite path on this this map being jumping across gap. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
What has been occurring more and more, I think, in this map is actually people pushing through street because of concerns like what Booples did there. I say that, of course, they've just gone across gap again, and now they're going to dunk it. So my point is so moot, and that's just fantastic. But what happens is that it can be very challenging just to break through that that area. It's so easy to focus it that a lot of people have started running street more frequently. But again, gap usually is good for pretty decent points.
Yeah, and the reason it's my favorite has nothing to do with playstyle and more I love watching people fall. So, that's exactly why I want to see it happen over and over again. I would much rather someone fall than get sharked on and go down after the jump. So,
fair enough. Yeah. Speaking of the street push, by the way, Mr. Z was able to make it all the way through street and drop it down. 32 is usually pretty good here, and that pop finding another one could mean that this push isn't done just yet. But with it's not done yet. Now it's done.
Amazing! Whoa, that was such a good push at the end by Evil Tuki. That was like you started on it and you're like, yeah, looks like we're going in, and just. amazing. Go for it.
I saw one or two up on the side of Garfield, and I thought, 2v2, this is still very defendable, and then it was suddenly 4v1, and I don't know exactly what happened, but the end result is evil Tuki going up 2-1.
It certainly is, and we're going into another Mako Mart here, which is Splat Zones. We did see Manta Maria earlier, and on Tower Control, so now we'll see Splat Zones on Mako Mart. So these are, I believe those were our first two repeats, but two of my favorites. Yeah.
We saw Clams earlier on Mako. I didn't remember the TC Manta map, so I'm glad you did.
It was a very fast one, I think.
I remember now it was Paradise, because I remember Twice made a good push, and then Paradise came back to, I think, knockout.
Yes, and it was very, very well done. I apologize, my microphone just started updating and said it won't work, and I said, no, don't do that.
Commentator's nightmare.
Yes, exactly. But seeing as this is a Halloween swim or spook, I think we're in for some spooky fun here. Pink and green, definitely Halloween colors. And going into Mako Mart, this is what I want to see, Barry. I love this map mode combination. Cereal over here, one of my favorite callouts in any history ever.
Almost as good as toilet paper.
Almost as good as toilet paper, exactly.
Which is also on this map for those who do not know.
Yep. But even things right like that, we have a trade coming out. We already have 77 points down. We have Garfield is working on pushing that point, but 3 specials, one did go down, one gets used for Evil Tuki. I thought maybe that would help stop that, but just barely. They are able to take the lead as Archer is doing a good job holding down the zone.
Yeah, this is, I think you and I, anyone who's watched this game in any competitive format has probably seen this map about as much as any map out there, but there's a reason for it. It is an incredibly good one, and you can see, even though we're seeing very meta comps coming out here, double Suction Bomb Rush armor and Booyah Bomb on the side of Evil Tuki, and Booyah Bomb armor missiles Rain on the side of Garfield's Halloween Adventure. This map, the reason why so many people love it is because it suits just about every weapon in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is the simplest way of why it's so nice. Modes are... Every weapon does well on this map. There's something for everyone here. It's literally a grocery store, so you can get whatever you need. I think we're seeing that in operation right now.
We are seeing that, and what Evil Tuki needs is to gain control of the zone here. They've at least neutralized it for the time being, but in a 3v3 and only 12 ticks left on that zone, they really need to bring out that Suction Bomb Rush from Mr. Z. And I think they used Booples' Bomb Rush to retake the zone, so they actually still have one more Suction Bomb Rush here, which might allow them to push in, but they might not need it either if Joe keeps getting picks like that.
Oof. Joe was absolutely slaying right there. Everything that you want to see. Archer, though, coming in, holding down objective once again. I really love watching Archer play because seems like, playing in my heart right there, holding on to the objective every single time and staying in mid. Has a armor at the ready as well. Probably going to wait for that push to come in here. Does pop it right now as a couple of specials went online on Evil Tuki. We have a player come up on the side. Somebody flanks around and they do go down, and the zone switches into Evil Tuki's control.
Yeah, these missiles, if they had come out just a few seconds earlier, might have been able to keep zone in the favor of Garfield's Halloween Adventure, but unfortunately for them, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to even contest the zone. They did cap it back, but at what cost? Going 3 down with just the 52 gal remaining.
Yeah, this is...
It has the making. I think we've seen this game enough, and certainly seen these situations enough to know that once you start getting really good map control, we haven't seen either of these teams push as far in as some top teams tend to, which is pushing all the way around toilet paper. And perhaps that has given Garfield's Halloween Adventure away back in, we're starting to see this is the position that, well, they're backing away from it, but that is the position over there on that far right side that you want to see people push all the way up to. It makes it very uncomfortable to try to push back in for the team aggressing. So be interested to see if they can set up.
Looks like they're working on it. I mean, Boople's getting a couple of really nice picks right there. 2 down on the side of Garfield's Halloween Adventures, and this penalty is almost gone. That point is going to move really fast once they break that away. 8's quite a way to go from 30, but I think that they can do it if they focus really closely on staying within this zone. They need to stay alive too. Those missiles won't help. You're going to force.
No, they won't.
Ooh, not good, not good.
No,
that
not good
takes
at
out their
all.
Range.
Yeah, and you could see it. You could see what Mr. Z wanted to do there. Try to get all of those suction bombs off. Figured that, even if they do die, then at least they'll get lead off of it. But I think the timing was just slightly miscalculated, and those bombs did not hold the zone long enough. Pretty ideal retake if you're Garfield's Halloween Adventure to tie it up here at 2 apiece. In a situation where they had a Junior and a K-Shot versus Charger and I think 2 other players, to walk away with zone there is impressive.
Very impressive. I am really excited because we get to go see a game 5 on this set, closest that we've seen so far. And, all of these players have performed amazingly. I have been very, very impressed, and there was one point where you stopped talking. I'm like, I probably need to say something, but I was so into just watching that, it's like, this is the type of Splatoon that you live to watch. Really fantastic play coming out. Garfield's Halloween Adventure versus Evil Tuki. We're going into our last game for the set. Tower control on Starfish main stage. A lot of people hate Starfish. I don't get it. Please tell me why.
I can run you through it very, very easily. Starfish on Splat Zones is painful because it's difficult to push back in on that map. Starfish on Rainmaker is not a terrible mode, but people still have flashbacks to before the rework, and that was a terrible mode, jumping it over that wall, for those who remember. Claims on Starfish can feel really stagnated. It's hard to push in, and even when you do, it feels like, I don't know, sometimes you don't get the reward out of it. Starfish Tower Control, however, I do think is one of the best maps on this mode. Or sorry, one of the best mode on this map. And it's because there's a lot of different places that you can contest the tower. But there's also a lot of different places for the attacking team to make some very special plays. Making that jump from snipe to the defending team's spawn is such an enjoyable experience. To push in there, make havoc, and hopefully get a few picks off of it too. That's the type of high level, I'm going to take this game into my own hands moments that I think every player dreams about having.
I absolutely agree with you. I think it's so much fun to be able to wait for those moments, because when you pull something like that off, you're just like, wow, this was way above what I had anticipated, and now I did a really nice job on this. I think...
Why were they hiding in plain sight?
I don't know. I'm super confused. Like, waiting for... I don't know. Just waiting for that opportunity. It did work.
Yes.
Yeah.
They got... I mean, you take that, absolutely. They didn't break the checkpoint. As long as you're not allowing a checkpoint to be broken, I think it's totally fine for that push to be allowed to happen. And to get the double, to give all the information, I think it's great play from Archer. I was just confused because they were standing out in the open, completely visible. Anyone who was looking could have seen that. But then they smartly backed up a little bit, hid behind the corner, and got a beautiful double. And now
very nice.
They've put themselves in a great position to keep this push going. The 52 getting 2 picks, but going to get picked off themselves by Joe, who gets taken on that Booyah Bomb. This checkpoint is nearly broken and is gone there. The ballpoint doing a wonderful job, not to just push the objective, but to get another pick on top of that and allow for some jumps to come in here. If they can find that fall-off damage, which we saw a few taps of, that would just be job well done.
It really would be. I think this has been a fantastic push that's coming out from Garfield's Halloween Adventure. I'm really impressed with how they've been able to come together, and we were talking about them being kind of late game team. this is what they need right now. You know, game 5, they can't wait around. They can't wait to kind of run it back. They need to be all aggression as much as possible, and I think they've been kind of handling that really nicely so far. Even in that type of situation where there was a really strong trade, this push is still going, Barry. We have Violet moving back up here, really positioning themselves in a way that can cause a lot of pressure. The missiles coming out, trying to hang on to and hold this checkpoint, but I don't think they're going to do it. Nope.
I don't think so too, and that is going to be close enough to a wipe for Evil Tuki to finally stop this push and take back most of mid control at the very least. Joe seeing that player, knowing about that player, waiting for their teammate to come in for the flank just to make sure that in case they had opted the other way, to run away instead of to fight, they would have guaranteed that kill, which I really like. That's good team play, and finding that little luck of RNG to get another pick there should allow them to break this checkpoint so long as the ballpoint doesn't get away with that move. And they were not going to get away. Booble's doing a nice job to backstab that. This is dangerous, again, for Garfield's Halloween adventure.
And that's going to be it right there. Ooh, I called it too quickly.
You were correct,
no,
but,
there we go. But yeah.
Yes, dodging the bomb rush, honestly, not a terrible idea, so long as you make it through that checkpoint. Very important, and they have done so, and even more than that, they've gotten it down to 19 here. I don't know if this push is going to continue a whole lot more. That Booyah Bomb should get shredded, and it does. Going to just be the Charger here, trying to contest from mid, but probably should just run away, make sure that they have that Stingray ready to go to stop the next push.
Yeah, which is going to be coming very quickly. We have 2 specials online from Garfield's Adventures, Halloween Adventures, pardon me. And they're just waiting for the best opportunity to move forward. We have... Okay, I was like, just the Stingray, but there we have some armor too. 4 specials online from Garfield's Halloween Adventure. This is going to be it, Barry. One goes down.
And that was the one that you needed the most for this raid. That armor not getting popped in time is going to, at the very least, slow this push, but it looks like it might even be brought to a halt here if they're able to find a few more picks. Splash opts to jump out against the ballpoint, but the ballpoint's teammate not going to be able to stay alive. The ballpoint doing great, though. Ready, maybe making this still work.
Yeah, and there was only 1 player up for Evil Tuki. Like, that was a really nice 3-down situation for them to be able to hold that on. They lost a little bit of ground, which I think they were not hoping for, but now they just have to be so careful. We're probably getting pretty close to another ray coming out. They can't go down.
I don't think so. I don't think there's going to be a ray. I don't think there's going to be a Booyah Bomb either. Yeah, definitely not now that they're dead. Yeah, this is going to be, do the bombs do it? The bombs do not do it in time. Garfield's Halloween Adventures, they are a team.
End game team. That's just it. Like, there's no... That was so good.
They are closers. We saw it in the first match on Anchovy, nearly coming back, and this time they pull off the comeback all the way. It didn't feel like it was supposed to be a match that they won based on those the KA we see there, but credit to them for sticking with it. And I think some great ballpoint play at the very end of that match as well, to walk away with the win in this set, 3-2. Well played.
Very well played. That was a fantastic set to be able to watch today, and I'm so happy that we were able to do so. Definitely a lot of these players in that last set have earned my fan badges. I'm so excited to be able to watch them continue, and hopefully I'll get to see them in some upcoming tournaments, which is what I'm going to use for a segue to shill some of our own stuff before we sign off and let some other fantastic commentators take over. We do have a tournament that was your idea, Barry. Would you like to talk about Shopping Spree?
Shopping Spree is a tournament where we are changing up the meta. We are forcing players and teams to pick a series of weapons from a $20 budget, each weapon having its own assigned value. If you go over the budget, you forfeit that match, so teams are going to have to get creative here, and it's definitely going to throw away the meta as we know it, at least for the time being. It's got an interesting set of maps, and it's certainly got some fun prizes as well, so definitely make sure to go check it out. Again, happening on October 30th, and you can find all the information over at Twitter at SpawnPointTV.
definitely look into that. If you're looking to play some double tournaments that day, great opportunity. Start with Shopping Spree and move on to TNT. Both events are going to offer you some really fun and exciting opportunities to get you into things that are switching up your mindset. So it'll be a lot of fun. Great weekend coming up. Thank you so much to IPL for having us on today. I have had an absolute blast commentating with you today, Barry.
I mean, I always know that it's going to be a great time whenever we get to commentate together. And so glad we could watch such intense matchups there. Again, that 3-2 was set of the night as far as I know.
I agree. Really good. Very
But that
exciting.
will do it for us. We're going to take a short break and we'll be coming back here for the semis and winners, I believe, with Fern and Sep. So do stick around, enjoy the action. And again, for myself and
Acid Sunshine.
Myself and Melissa, thank you so much for tuning on in here. I've been the Barry, and we'll catch you guys again.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone. On this spooky SOS today, I am Super Fern, and I'm here today with Scapadiulian. And today we'll be bringing the last few matches of SOS. Ooh, wait, no, this is for the next tournament. But yeah, this is Super Fern, and I'm joined today by
Scapadillions! Hi, everyone. I hope you are very excited, prepping for Halloween, perhaps cosplaying a squid or octoling of choice. I'm very excited for Halloween, and we are here for Sync. And it's going to be a wonderful time. Here we are with Nawal Gaming and Mictlan Demons, and forgive me if I butcher this, y Pan de Muerto. Very excited to see these two teams. Definitely a fan of Mictlan Demons. What do you know about Nawal Gaming, though?
Oh, Narwhal Game, it's been a long time since I met you, and this is crazy. But here's the thing, I know Chomper the most, and Chomp, like, honestly, Narwhal Gaming, it has always been a very top team. I'm actually excited to see when the Ludi Season 12 begins, because if I remember correctly, Narwhal is trying their best to get, like, just to the... I don't remember if they were Division X. I'm gonna fact check in a second, but like just seeing the ascension of Nawal Gaming was always something that I always followed up as part of my it's because one of the teams that has always been there the moment I started Calm, and it is that tag you always see similar on solo queue. And Chomper, as I said, Chomper plays K-Shot. I'm very familiar with Chomper. But Mictlan, Demons, y un Pan de Muerto, I am not familiar. Do you have anything about them, Scappy?
I mean, yeah, it's Mictlan Heroes getting all spooky for Swim or Spook. Who doesn't know about Mictlan Heroes? I'm surprised that you knew so much about Nawal, because I haven't heard of them, but I'm glad that you have. Alright, we are starting. And we do have armor as expected on both sides. It is Clamblet Snapper Canal. We have Chica over here trying to push up into the street. It does look like there is a K-Slosh there over on the left side though. So it's currently a battle for mid.
With the 96 trying to be the main watcher of their street, they're trying to play as defensive as they possibly can with two specials in the difference, just a sloshing machine with a splashdown, trying to find an opening for Mictlan's on Narrow Gaming's defense is a little bit tricky, but they do go down on reach, and this seems to be mostly just a fight for control in mid, no push at all at the beginning.
Yeah, both teams trading players. We do see that Nawal is the first team to really take control, though, with 17 power clams in control of their opponent's hill. That's very big. They just have to get into position in order to make a push. We do see, oh gosh, this individual with the NZAP 85 working their way up, trying to figure out the best way to approach, building up special, and it looks like they're going to go in for a armor booyah missiles push, which should be happening shortly with 30 power clams.
30 oh, but the flank from behind from Lax with the 52, getting the end zap as the main person to go down from Nawal does put them in a small disadvantage. This push will not go like this is literally good for Mictlan heroes, and because it could have been much worse. And the sloshing machine is just trying to safely fall back and not get splattered on their snipe flank bicycle. I don't remember actually the color because it's so specific, but yeah, Nawal Gaming get the first push and it doesn't seem to be able to score more, mostly because of that flank from the 52 on the end zap.
Yeah, great shutdown of that push. It really could have been devastating for Mictlan Demons. We do see Aizen trying to put pressure into Sneaky, prevent their opponents from coming back into mid. Mictlan Demons does pop armor, and they are going to be extremely aggressive. The K-Machine putting some serious damage down as Mictlan Heroes prepares for their first push. Unfortunately, the 96 is going to go down. The clam is going to be recovered by one of their teammates, and we're seeing that first dunk.
The first dunk from Mictlan Heroes seems to be not followed up by many clams as we were expecting, so the lead will be kept by Nawal Gaming. The fight still is on Narwhal's base, and mostly as they did with Mictlan Heroes, it is taking a little bit of time to fall it back. What we're seeing here mostly is like we see fights being taken, mid being disputed between the two, but nothing that much like big when in terms of like, oh, they all got splattered and they all got wiped and they literally can just like 50 points. We see a little bit of teamwork trying to set up here. The trade, the end zap dying, getting splattered by the the slush machine getting splattered by the end zap, and then the 52 finishing off the job does give them a little bit of room to breathe, but still doesn't initiate anything exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see two members of Nawal on their snipe, though, just trying to get out of their street. They do have 3 specials online, which is going to be very useful. We do see, I believe that is the 96 over on top of their hill there. That's the K-Machine, actually, preventing Nawal from really breaking in out of their own street, because they're probably aware of his presence. Chica looks like they're preparing for a push here, though. Both teams are even in terms of clams. Leek is over there trying to get picks. There doesn't seem to be a lot happening right now. With a minute left in the match, neither team has had a successful push that they've been able to hold.
Nero with the Booyah Ball trying to initiate to put the push, but Chomper, not Chomper, the K-Shot from Nawal Gaming was very aggressive there, trying to stop the push, not from the 52 itself, but whoever was in mid, and that honestly was a great play, knowing when to push and knowing that they would play a little bit defensive in order to get that get their scores going, and Nawal Gaming is just at the 32 points mark, and Mictlan Heroes is struggling to stop their push with 30 seconds remaining. This is gonna need a lot of coordination in order to stop. With a little bit more points, it's 32 to 11. It's 5 and just 2 clams. Now, will the NZAP be the brave here and finish it off the match? They do have the clams, but do they have the heart, bravery, and let's just say aggression, or do we call it feeding? If you allow me.
If it's feeding with a purpose, you know, then you could just say that you're playing objective. The NZAP does have armor. At this point with 5 remaining, it's going to be very difficult for Mictlan Demons to pull off a push here. They have 16 seconds in order to be able to dunk that, or 20 seconds in order to be able to dunk that power clam. We do see, unfortunately, the K Machine going down and the 96. And K52. At this point, that ends up as the only one up. Nawal is going to take control of that area and take that clam from them, and the point will go to Nawal Gaming.
First match for Narwhal, very good. We already can expect a lot of things from Narwhals, the way they play, especially from the K-Shot Nero doing. I honestly just like am expecting to be very much. I think I'm a little bit tired because it's just a little bit too late, but that's not the point. I'm just expecting to see from that game. I do think Narrow Gaming does have the upper advantage, but Mictlan Heroes can still turn this around just fine. The game was still very close. It was a matter of just who managed to survive the push and the counter push from each party. And at the end of the day, both teams still have potential for, winning the set.
Yeah, I don't know where this set is going to go. Mictlan Demons, seen them around the block, seen them pop off in many, many tournaments. Nawal is quite successful from what you described. I haven't been around in the comp scene as long as you have, so I'm going to trust your expertise on that.
Both teams are divisional.
They're both. Oh, wow! I didn't know that about Mictlan. The more you know, absolutely, that's beautiful. So this is going to be a very well-studied, well-observed set. We are moving forward towards Rainmaker Blackbelly, home of the Stingray. What do you expect to see here other than that?
Well, the good old armor always comes in clutch. But they do not seem to be running a backline comp, so the Stingray might happen, but just for this match. In terms of comp, I still think we're gonna see the Slushy Machine, the K-Shot, no blobs, I'm sorry. We do see the Soda that is very good, and the Splash for the Bomb Rush in case they need to restart the push just after the Rainmaker gets splatted.
Yeah, we do see the NZAP coming out on both sides. No Stingray, which honestly I have seen that more and more with recent Rainmaker Blackbelly matches. Okay, wonderful. We do see both teams building up their special. It does look like Mictlan currently has control of Miz, which means Nawal is going to have to take defensive positions, especially with one member going down on that right side. We see Numpir, forgive me if I butcher that name, trying to stay alive. It looks like there's one on that right side that is going to prepare to push them. So they definitely can get the drop on them, though, in order to be able to punish that situation.
The situation here with the NZAP is actually quite interesting. You do notice that the NZAP is not trying to initiate the fight, and the NZAP knows that you shouldn't drop to get the high ground. But you do understand. The K-Shot is basically teasing you, I'm here, I'm painting, you can't do anything. And honestly, that is one of the things that most people do need to learn, because you're watching right now 2 Division 1 team plays, and you might be like, wait, but I play NZAP, why don't I get the picks that they do? It's because literally they play way different. They know when to push, they know when to give a position in order to go for a pick, and you can see, because of their patience, Nawal didn't manage to get past 50 points mark, and that's unprevented.
Yeah, that's something that I've heard relatively recently, is that typically those who are less comfortable in the role of support, we are seeing Nawal going in for a push, though it looks like they're going to be able to take lead. But those that are less comfortable with the support tend to either play Zap like a T-Tech and feed a little bit with it, and those who play Junior tend to be way too passive with it. If you can strike that right balance between being passive and aggressive, you really can be an extremely successful support player. And that's exactly what we saw from that Zap, is they chose the right moment to initiate the fight as opposed to just jumping in like a true Slayer would. We do see the Rainmaker being pushed up that right side. Unfortunately, Nawal's Octoshot is down, but they are applying just so much pressure here. With the missiles, you really could swim up, Rainmaker. Go, go, go! There's 2 on them. They are pincered. They probably are going to go down, and there we go. Mictlan does have 3 specials online. They are popping all of those and beginning an extremely aggressive counter push.
Oh yeah, armor being used. The 50 Chow is abusing that range as much as they can. 45 points on the clock right now. Lead goes further and further to Mictlan heroes. 52 doing 52 shenanigans or Slayer shenanigans, but like with the painting buff that weapon has, and took so much energy from Nawal Gaming that they basically needed 2 people to take that 52 out of the spawn. They do manage to stop the push, that's fair, but now the fight becomes a control of mid, and that's what we're seeing Aizen just chucking in with the fizzy bombs, trying to get the pop, because otherwise you might as well die to the pop.
Yeah, Aizen and Nero pushing up that left side. Unfortunately for Aizen, there are 2 on them, especially with that Slosher just jumping all over the place. That Slosher is going to get the pick. Mictlan pushing up onto their opponent's street, preparing a push, getting some paint down. The Rainmaker is picked up, but very quickly punished by the shot, I believe. Leek just chucking that Booyah Bomb, trying to figure out what to do here. They really don't have to push this. They currently do have lead, but everyone knows Rainmaker Blackbelly is a volatile map mode, so they do have to keep the pressure up if they hope to take this W.
No, yeah, Mictlan Heroes is like showing what I said about the previous match. Like, here Seth, the Octoshot, just like being patient and trying to not get the picks. The problem is, you focus too much on the 52, you forgot about the Octoshot. That was a little bit unfortunate, but that also, like, not everyone is perfect, that's completely fair. And with the second attempt to push from Mictlan Heroes, just to show in your own face, yeah, we can still push, we can still keep going. No, you're not gonna do anything. Come on, you can do. We're gonna win this game for sure.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is feed in Rainmaker Blackbelly, even if you're holding a win. Nawal does take the advantage to push that Rainmaker up the left side. 2 members are down, make that 3, which means that push is going to come to a close. But I do believe that Nawal did get to extend their push a little bit further than it was previously. Pendy Muerto painting up with that Rainmaker, just trying to stall with it, prevent Nawal from getting access to it. And with 8 seconds, I think they'll be able to do that. They do get a pick on Aizen though. Oh, looks like somebody's coming around for a flank. Oh my, oh my! The Rainmaker does go down. Oh, but there's only 1 member in play on the side of Nawal. That's going to have to be a miracle. Man, Nero does get a pick, gets a second pick, unfortunately goes down, but there are 2 people jumping in. Are they going to be able to do something with this? Are they? Oh, no. Oh, that was so close.
Okay, I gotta give it to Nawal Gaming. That was a really nice spectacle at the very end of the match. A lot of picks, specifically with just a little sneaky splash. Man, they not only take the Rainmaker, but I think 2 more people. So yeah, like, damn, that was a good play on the splash. Unfortunately, the Rainmaker was in a good position. Maybe that was Mictlan here's intention, to leave it on crate, because it does take a while to get over there. But very well played at the end for both. We did see Mictlan Heroes was having much more ease compared to Nawal Gaming when in terms of pushing. Their most successful push was when they were at the enters of Maze, but then it was just like the end zap and go and zap, go and zap.
That end zap was spectacular. Extremely patient and resourceful, and that's exactly like what you want to see from a good Zap player. Next would be Splat Zone's Wahoo World, which, as we all kind of know, the name of the game here is paint. You want to get as much paint down as you possibly can, because of how large the map is. You have to be able to do something with the amount of paint. So paint negative comps don't tend to work here. I do expect to see a lot of paint. I do expect to see the Zap. But juniors also work well, given that you can roll the bombs down your opponent's plat. That can be very useful. I don't expect to see any backlines. What about you?
I'm not expecting it back my you, but I do have to say, if you have to play this, Dynamos can work. You can stay just behind the wall, painting the zone infinitely, and that actually is very good for the Dynamos to play. You can play Armor or Booyah Bomb, most common is Booyah, but neither of them will play. Blob is also recommended. Problem is, if you're gonna have a blaster, which you can do because like Inkjet is a possibility, Rapid Blaster because of armor, Range Blaster with Grim Range Blaster is also viable. You also need a lot of paint from the team, so given that, I think Mictlan, who's running the slushing machine? Was
Both
it
of them
Nawal?
were last round.
Last round was Vanilla Buckets, was 252s. It was both teams had a good great comp, but we'll see about that. Like, if they most likely won't change their comp that much, we're still gonna keep the same with just one person changing weapons. But yeah, if you go for a very, as you said, low ink painting weapons on this, it's gonna be a lot harder.
Fire me, IPL. I absolutely love the circular zone. It's spectacular. Oh man, it's like blob time, bouncing the shots off walls. I see you in chat. I love the circle zone. Hard disagree here.
They don't know Kelpion's zones. They don't know Kelpion's for complaining about this zone for sure.
We do have double zap on the side of Nawal, so speaking of serious paint, and that foil squeezer is going to be extremely useful on the side of Mictlan for capping that zone. Everybody is currently up. Nobody's gone down in the first 30 seconds of the match. That means that both teams are having a grand opening. Currently, Nawal, oh, never mind. Everything's just stalling out. The K-52 is the first one to go down. We do see Narrow pushing onto that glass area. At this point, you just have to push up. You have to paint up, you have to get paint down. That way it's slower for Mictlan to re-engage.
Nero using the Booyah Bomb to get the pick on the shooter, which was on right glass. According to this perspective of the camera, was very well played, nice teamwork. But now with the Booyah Bomb and the bubbles, Mictlan Heroes will have an attempt to neutralize the zone, but the missiles from the Origin Zap will say, no, this is our zone, not yours. The Squeezer unfortunately gets into a very tight situation. That wall doesn't help the 50 to fight against the 52, but at the end, Narrow Gaming still has to control the zone with no penalty.
Yeah, they are keeping on going. Both of those zaps are keeping down paint, at least for now. Mictlan does manage to cap the zone. We do see Leek just swimming up extremely aggressively, taking control of that plat faster than the blink of an eye. Dropping into rotate, avoiding those missiles smartly, dropping those missiles onto plat. That way they're nowhere near Leek. This is pretty even. Oh, Nawal does manage to take control of the zone. You gotta wonder what was going on over there. The zone is currently in neutral, flipping back and forth. But it's really still anybody's game with 3 minutes left in the match.
No, Kelp. Sorry, not Kelp. Sorry, I was reading chat. Wahoo World Zones is definitely not a very easy to spawn camp. Mostly because it can really rotate in between, and you can see right here, like, just the use of specials. Honestly, I'll say, I like Wahoo, but I think Wahoo just emphasizes how just using specials to go back to the zone is something that defines this game. Like, this is the definition of Splatoon 2, is just like painting for specials, and then using specials to counter your enemies, and then go on and so forth. And also the sharking from the flares. Oof.
Wow, clean pick from that bucket there. You gotta wonder if they knew that K-52 was there. Dafter, see, spawn camping may not be a thing on Wahoo zones, but you know what is? Plat camping. Look at Dafter and Pendimorto on top of Nawal Gaming's plat, just absolutely keeping up the pressure up. Nawal does pop that bomb rush and Booyah Bomb, which is going to be very useful in forcing the members of Mictlan out, but unfortunately their zap is down and the splash. That's a huge chunk of paint gone, and Nawal is not going to be able to regress that, especially with the K-52 being the only one up. Look at the K-52 on glass though. He's going for it, absolutely going for it, but completely surrounded and is going to get picked for that.
And there was a 4v1 happening right there, and the bubbles from the squeezer to try to not get any paint from Narwhal Gaming was very well played, and second game will go to Mictlan Heroes. So far, Narwhal Gaming, you won Clan Blades, that's fine. Let's see how you do on the last matches, because so far you lost Rainmaker and Zones, so please Narwhal Gaming, give me this 2-2, I want this game to go game 5, please give me that.
45.
6 missiles from the end zap, also not to mention how important paint and just sinking specials, like it was, you could see it one of the moments in the beginning of the map, that in the beginning of the match, where the end zap's missiles were something that kept kept Mictlan Heroes from capping the zone at the beginning, giving Narwhal Gaming the upper hand. And yeah, I also love IPL Spook.
Yeah, we will be moving on to TC Inkblot, home of the Kenza Rapid Blaster. You see that a lot here. It's very useful, given that it can reach the tower from your plat. Blaster Heaven, it is TC. I do wonder if we'll see it. Do you think anybody here plays Rapid Blaster?
Are you talking about Rapid Blaster or Rapid Blaster Pro?
I'm talking about Kenza Rapid in specific, but I'm open to seeing any blaster. Yeah.
Rapid. The bucket's still very good here because of the ledges and the office. Honestly, if they want to flex it, that's fine. But my bets are not on that horse. I still think they're gonna just be playing most of the turf weapons. They're just like, keep the turf.
Yeah, I do expect to see that Slosher come back. They did excellent in that last match. Definitely expect the Zap as well. I don't think we're going to be seeing any juniors here in this set tonight. The Zap is just capable of being much more aggressive, which is incredible for these extremely fast-paced comps. But we will be observing a wonderful TC Inkblot match.
TC Inkblot. Interesting, how do you play? Like, do you ride tower first? Do you ride tower later?
Personally?
Yeah.
I play Kunder on TC Inkblot, so I'm typically the tower rider, except up until the first checkpoint. So I typically ride first, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nice answer, actually.
Thank you. We do not see a blaster coming out, but we do see that K machine, which might as well be the cousin of the blaster. Both teams have armor. Mictlan is the first to pop it, and that K machine is currently down, which means Mictlan is going to begin their push. With Nawal holding that Booyah Bomb and that armor, though, that is quite a significant threat. We do see Leak pushed up, trying to access their opponent's snipe. It looks like they're having a little bit of a tough time with it, but they do get a pick there, which is excellent. And Mictlan is at checkpoint 2.
Honestly, I would say this is one of the moments I wish I had Rafa set up this stream, because this was just a perfect beginning of first push. Like, we're already 1 minute into the match, and Mictlan is already at the last checkpoint, just because of how they play their cards right. And right here, Chica cancels the flank. It becomes a 4v3 once again. Chica gets the final pick, apart from the sloshing machine alive, which I think is just... Yeah, we see over there up in the bathrooms. And it's just gonna end in 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Wait, Chica saves again. It's over.
Wow, that was phenomenally clean on the side of Mictlan Demons. Just, hey, we're taking this tower in the opening. Oh, by the way, you don't know this, but this is the final push. We're gonna win this.
The only push. This is a demonic push. Oof. No, but yeah, like, even, like one of the first specials we saw was the Booyah Bomb. Did you notice where they threw the Booyah Bomb?
I believe it was on right, where a flank would typically take place.
Exactly, that was the intention. They threw the Booyah Bomb because knowing the time the Booyah Bomb would take that area, the tower would have started to ride further and further to the second checkpoint, giving it a much more safer position to stop a flank, which then we saw at the end was just actually what happened. Because the tower was so far away from mid, people that were just behind tower making sure there was no flanks, they would be much safer to do and stop the flank. And like control of the office came just afterwards, pressuring just below their area. And the slushy machine at the end from Nawal Gaming, it was just like, okay, you were alive, but there is nothing literally you can do because how Mictlan demons literally just set themselves so perfectly, and you can literally the game was over at the beginning, like at the opening at the beginning, and then at one attempt in the middle in between the second and third checkpoint. But I was already so surprised I couldn't find the moment that Narwhal Gaming missed in order to stop the push.
It was a textbook TC Inkblot match. I know I'm going to be looking at it again. If you want to learn how to be aggressive on TC Inkblot, that is one to look over again and again, because every single one of those players did their job on the side of Mictlan Heroes phenomenally. My name is Skepadillions. I am here with the wonderful Fern, and we will be right back for grand finals of Swim or Spook. Stay Spook.
Damn, we're already there. Nice.
Yeah. Yo, everybody! Welcome back to Swim or Spook. We are here for a wonderful surprise match. It is Game 5. You're going to recognize Garfield's Halloween Adventures and Oreo Spook. That's what we will be heading into. Oh, Oreo Boo's all even better. I'll call them my boo for that cute, wonderful name. I do recognize Lux and Keen, and I am a huge fan of Archer on the side of Garfield's Halloween Adventure. Do you know any of these players, Fern? It's Game 5, let's go!
Yeah, Archer. I was actually I was watching the stream before you and said you were playing 1v1s on Splatoon.
I was not.
Okay. Okay. Keen and Lux also. I think Keen plays. Keen definitely. I think Keen play. No, I'm confusing with Cream. Keen definitely plays the Splash-O-Medic, if I'm correctly. That's right?
Yes, I believe so. I don't recognize their weapon pool as much as I should. However, I have seen them play in tournaments. Same with Luck. Yeah, but I do know Archer for their 85.
Archer was playing NZAP, that's true. And also, I recognize Cappuccino. I wish I had one right now. And we're gonna just go for the last match of this emergency spectator camera set, and we're already gonna see great teams. And luckily for both, no bamboo, but we do see a 52 gal with open gambit.
Well, opening Gambit, ready to shut things down. That's pretty pog. Unfortunately, that 52 is down, which means that their opening Gambit is lost. Very sad, very, very sad. The Squeezer is down on the side of Oreo Booze. Both K-Shots have their missiles ready, but one of them goes down on the side of Garfield. We do see XVC taking control of those fans. Unfortunately, getting picked by Spook Keen. Very, very cute and clever Spook. Archer is taken down by that K-Shot as well, and it looks like Oreo Booze is currently in control.
Oreo Boo's right here with Kin was actually quite interesting, mostly because everyone was at the exact moment the Keisha was deciding to go left, right, and conveyor belt. And the play with misses right here from Kin, very well textbook as well, very well prepared. The Panda is definitely scoring the first match, and the bubbles, double bubbles, are popping in with the Squeezer and the Vanilla tent. Definitely, we're gonna get a little bit more points, but okay, just 1 point. That's fine. And I think Keen is just got splattered on the barbecue and useless off Piranha Pit.
Hey yo, Garfield's Halloween Adventure coming back swinging. Let's go. Shutting down that push with only getting a power and a mini clam in is quite successful. XVC abandoning that position smartly. The last thing you want to do is get picked in neutral on this map. We do see Garfield's Halloween Adventure. Oh no, the K-52 going down to some missiles. Spook Keen preparing to push up once again, avoiding that suction bomb. I would have swam into that one.
Damn, Spooky, I saw the mist of the armor forming underneath the feed, and I also think that King saw that at the time, but the hype is so great that, and also, this is semi-finals, they're probably a little bit tired, but if definitely they were a little bit more energetic, they would have noticed that and definitely wouldn't have passed that with the shocking K-shot underneath the pillow in mid.
Yeah, and we do see Garfield's Halloween Adventure preparing for the push. Archer, Witch of Power Clam, dunking that clam. Will they be able to encourage their teammates to work up? We do see Spooknya, I think that's what that says, getting in position to dunk some clams. Hey, y'all, we get a Power Clam in there too. Viowit dunking a couple mini clams as well, but Garfield's is wiped. You don't want to get wiped on Clams Piranha because it means that Oreo Booze is going to be able to take control of everything before you manage to get out of spawn. Yeah, they have control of both conveyors right now and bubbles ready. That's quite scary.
Oh yeah, definitely. And notice how after the wipe, they managed to control it so fast. It was actually quite easy to see. But there is at least one person flanking the tent, knows that position, uses the tent shield to get closer and closer to the basket, releases and uses bubbles, gets the basket open. They managed to get all the way to 53 points. But Garfield's Halloween Adventure doesn't like that adventure, so will stop their push and keep their lead. Keeping a little bit more paint underneath their basket. It's now a fight for control of mid once again.
Yeah, they certainly are in control of mid. We do see Violet popping those missiles. Oreo Booze has both two specials online, the missiles and those bubbles. You can pop those missiles at any point, which they did, forcing Violet back towards spawn. The K-52 is essentially a 3v3, but make that 2v3 given how out of position Violet currently is. Shadow getting in ready for that push. I don't know if they have the clams in the proper positions, though, because they don't have a power clam form. And we do see XVC putting in a beautiful flank, shutting down this push before Oreo Booze can even dunk.
Damn, I was like, wait, are we seeing 252 fight? No, it was just the Squeezer having bad energy. And XVC almost getting splattered by the spooky splat bomb. But yeah, that was so clutch at the very end. One of the teams could definitely have pushed. Nice pick on the Squeezer once again from XVC. Trying to get the jump. There is no splash down here, so definitely that person is going down. Here comes that splat bomb, but the armor saves their life. They are going to score once again, increase their league. We're already going to... The penalty is almost gone, but okay, I'll consider it gone. And it's 30 seconds on the map, 37 points, 31. Something's Everyone's going down. Everyone's trying to stay alive. Everyone's trying to KO. It's just the NZAP and the K-Shot versus the Junior. Can the Junior stop the push? And we know the Junior cannot stop the push.
Archer, no! Wait, did he duck?
Yeah, no, there was someone sharking on the wall of useless, and they were just like waiting for the opportunity to throw that clam. That was actually very.
Oh.
I think the person that threw the last clam. Let me see. It was Violet for sure. It was Violet. I thought it was gonna be Ridnia, but it was Violet.
Popping off! Way to go, Pawn Champ! Way to dunk that final clam, and Garfield's Halloween adventure is going to take the set. Though Oreo Booze popped off many times, the set was incredibly even. I don't know the specifics of each match, but it did go to a Game 5, which everybody loves, but somebody's gotta be the winner.
Everyone's a winner, Scappy. This is Splatoon. You just win by playing tournaments. You don't win by playing solo queue. Just give you a heads up on that. So that settles for the semifinals. In terms of Nawal Gaming will be fighting Oreo Boost for the 3rd and 4th place match.
No, not Oreo Booze, and it's going to be Garfield's Halloween adventure versus Mictlan Demons.
Saying the dispute for 3rd place first. That one's gonna say the 1st place.
Oh, might be. Sorry for
it. And also, it's an opportunity to correct my mistake from previously. But yeah. What do you think is gonna happen with Garfield versus Mictlan Demons?
I don't know. I'm just excited to see one of the best 85 players in the scene pop off. I'm looking forward to that. I very much enjoy watching fantastic support players play. I play support myself, but I still have a lot to learn. So having the opportunity to commentate over such a fantastic support player really makes my day. We are going to be moving forward with Mictlan Demons versus Garfield's Halloween Adventure. We do have two very spooky teams committed to swim or spook here in Grand Finals, which I absolutely adore.
And the hype on the chat is real. Vapor smashing that Grand Finals hype. We're just waiting for, I think, one person from Mictlan Heroes to join. Chicha has arrived, and we'll be starting with a very weird choice, Rainmaker Sturgeon.
Yo, Rainmaker Sturgeon, let's go! Rainmaker Sturgeon is a great map mode. It is notorious. Everybody, you either love it or you hate it. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I suppose I'll find out with more experience. For me, the left push is very difficult. What's your favorite way to push on Rainmaker Sturgeon?
Top left for sure. Mostly because I do feel that the way that most people set up their matches on this, they set up their players is they try to take control of the bridge after the pop, but because the conveyors are still low, both teams try to go around the bridge using the spinners that are lower down and get the picks from people that are fighting on the other side of the bridge instead of coming from bridge to stop, because you are on their blind spot, if a matter of say. So as a backliner, I would watch that and at least watch one of the sides, and the person with the the most loneliest player, I would try to give more support.
Interesting. Always learn new things from you, Fern. It looks like Garfield's Halloween Adventure has been quick to ready up. That means they have a plan, which is something that you should be scared by, Mictlan Demons. I definitely look forward to seeing Mictlan pop, although I have seen them win tournaments, grand finals. They're a very competent, capable, courageous team. And they're here for the special edition Swim or Spook title, Fern.
Oh yeah, very spooky Rainmaker. Oh, also remember, this is the best of 7, not a best of 5.
How could I forget? It's Grand Finals.
Grand Finals. You see, a Okay, I'll save the joke for later. Oh, we see the Splatling finally showing up on a backline as comp. This is definitely going to be interesting for Garfield in order to control the aggression from Mictlan Demons.
Yeah, Sturgeon just is a great map for backline, so I'm not surprised to see the Splatling. I am surprised to see it from this team, though. We do see that Mictlan has popped armor, but they have missiles on them, which means that they're not going to be able to use that armor as aggressively as they would like. Their K-Shot is getting ready for some counter missiles, dropping to protect themselves. That's very, very clever. Chica getting a trade as they go down, but there are 4 members down on the side of Garfield, which at this point, you know, Mictlan's just gonna yeet it up the left as fast as they can. That area is very defendable if you have one of your teammates in front of you. Leek is there to protect the Rainmaker. Chica trying to prevent people from coming from right. There are bombs being thrown. Pansy Morto is being extremely aggressive. Oh man.
It's another wipe.
It's another wipe, but there are 3 members up from Mictlan Demons. You gotta be fast.
Oh, I as Dafter, I wouldn't have picked the Rainmaker because there's a bucket. You can literally paint the Rainmaker base so fast, and then going for any more picks. But then it's almost semi-wipe again on from Mictlan Heroes. But I think this time they managed to get a little bit more picks, so Mictlan Demons will actually back off a little bit to a more safe position.
Yeah, they are falling back, but Garfield's Halloween adventure did pick up the Rainmaker and didn't yeet it off the edge. They're choosing to use that thing to push up to mid, which I mean, hey, if you have a very capable Rainmaker handler, why not, right? There is, the Zap is down on the side of Mictlan Demons. Chica trying to shark around in Fight Cage, but Archer says, oh no, I know you're there. That's a predictable play, darling. And just absolutely forcing Mictlan off of their snipe, probably trying to approach from left as well.
I want to have you commentating a match where I am, mostly because I want to see your salt, but applied on me. Just because, damn girl, that was actually nice shade you just throw there.
No, I love everyone involved. I'm sorry, no shade intended.
That was well applied. It was well applied. I'm saying that was well applied because it was a 4v1 situation. Like, you get one person at most, you're not gonna actually stop the Rainmaker from... you're not gonna stop the team force just by doing that.
Yeah, well, I guess you could call it, seasoning salts. You know, spice things up. We do have that Rainmaker in the hands of, Rudin Ya, preparing to push that far right side. The Stingray is also ready to go in the hands of Garfield, but unfortunately they are dropping, and they are wiped once again. We do see that Mictlan has complete control of their court, and are beginning yet another counter push. The beauty of Rainmaker is you have to keep pushing objective. Unlike things like tower or zones, you can't really just stall. Clam Blitz, you can stall as well. With Rainmaker, you have to keep pushing that, because you can't just leave an unpopped Rainmaker in your own court.
True, you don't need to. You cannot leave the Rainmaker alone in your own base. That is completely fair. Nice jump here from Lee, trying to get fall back and safe distance because they literally are 971, trying to get the pick. Luckily, the heavy wasn't going to go forward anyway. 52 doesn't get the pick, but right now 52 is in a very tight situation where they cannot do much. The wall does get this. It's a 50-wolf fight, but the other 52, which had the higher ground and the open gambit, this seems to have the upper hand. Open Gambit itself, I don't think Open Gambit is still working right after 4 wipes or something?
I think it was 2, I don't know about 4. You might be overestimating your seasoning salt there, Fern. Pouring a little bit too much. We do have XVC unfortunately going down on Greats, leaving that heavy alone. But oh no, the heavy is down as well. Leek just absolutely taking control of that bridge. They have 2 specials online. Not good for Garfield's. At this point, it's all about that defense, given that there are 40 seconds left in the match.
40 seconds of the match. 52 trying to get as many picks as he gets. A very nice fall off over there on the end. Zap does delay the push from Garfield because it was the armor user that just went down. Nice movement over there with the 52. Avoiding the K-shot. If you get the K-shot splat, I would actually be very surprised. The wall fights over here in mid of the box. And finally the 52 does go down.
52 just absolutely being a phantom over there for this Halloween swim or sink. Just getting picked, staying alive. Unfortunately, yeah, they did go down in the end, but Heavy is down as well. We are seeing Archer absolutely pushing this. Unfortunately, they are gonna drop. No, they have no paint underneath their feet, and they're gonna go down the missiles.
Okay, I'll give them that. The push could have worked, but unfortunately, Mythic Heroes was prepared, and there was someone waiting for them to do that.
Yeah, and unfortunately they were frontlining with the Rainmaker, which I mean sometimes you're gonna have to do, and in that situation, Archer did kind of have to do that. Yeah, it's just, oh man, just that drop where I'm just like, okay, he's gonna drop, he's gonna push Sponge, this is gonna keep going, but then the missiles and the no paint underneath your feet is so painful.
Honestly, I would say, Garfield, you can still turn this around. You can still win this, no problem. Zones and TC are more stable matches. Mostly zones on humpback, but still a lot of booyah bombs are gonna be thrown. So, if you're watching this, Archer, Violet, XVC, Righty, I'm pretty sure you guys can still turn this around and give more of even more and more of your skills.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally game one, and for all we know, they're like me and other people who are uncomfortable on Rainmaker Surgeon. That's not my map mode, admittedly. It might not be theirs either. For all we know, Zone's Humpback is. We shall see. It's a long best of 7 set for this for the championship title, so we will see what happens. But we do see that Splatling switching out for the Heavy remix, and the Archer on the Junior there with those rolled bombs. Given the curvature of the map, you can get a little bit more value out of that. Mictlan, the zone is currently stalled. Mictlan pops their missiles and their armor. They are going to try and cap and hold this zone.
The first time getting capped was from Garfields. I do understand they were actually the play from the NZF from Mictlan Demons was actually quite nicely. They waited to get a better opportunity to use their armor, because at the moment, at the end of the day, when in terms of armor, you also like you want to say, okay, I want to be the first to use armor, but I also want at the end of my armor that our team has either equal or less special than us. So that's the whole idea of playing with armor. You don't play it to just be the first one. You always have a positive net in terms of like how many specials does your team have.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about armor is you can pop it early or you can pop it when you're in position. But if your teammates are in mid or in street or they're not near objective, your armor is not going to be as effective as it would be. We do see Violet getting called out though, being pushed by I believe the K-Shot with missiles on them. Yeah, we do see a little cheeky 1v1 over there. Violet getting the pick on Chica, maybe on the pick on Pandre Muerto as well. That is exactly what happens. And Garfield's Halloween Adventure is in control of the zone. Now's the time to work up, get your specials, be prepared for Mictlan Demons to hit hard and heavy.
Yeah, with 4 specials. They have 4 specials. Like, it's a matter of gonna be who's gonna break first and who's gonna be the one. Like, we're setting booyah bombs already from Mictlan Demons. We're seeing the armor to counter them missiles with the booyah bomb. The heavy using the booyah bomb to get the control of the zone, get the lead. Very well played. The problem is, okay, I think it just was just going to be a fluke. But at the end of the day, Garfield managed to hold the zone quite nicely. With just after here trying to get the sneaky peek, they kept 1, but now it's a 2v1 situation. I'm gonna just missile, but at the same time, they managed to get the trade. Nice going. Nice going.
Go, way to go, staying hidden just long enough, and then once you're called out and the members of Garfield starts pushing you, you're taking that pressure away from zone and forcing it on you, and as your teammates are coming out of spawn, they're able to clean up and cap that zone right behind you. Garfield's did recap though. The zone is in neutral currently, with Mictlan's taking control during that flip. With 2.5 minutes left, this is anyone's game. Garfield's adventure is holding quite a significant lead, and they just need their specials and aggression and luck on their side.
First missiles coming Garfield already here. They're already trying to pop it alone. Heavy does go down for it, getting so close to the Booyah Bomb. The zone doesn't get kept in favor. Garfield goes back to Mictlan Demons, and just here right now the bucket is just having a blast trying to push away everyone, and now it's just someone sharking. Oh, the Heavy gets the block. Okay, I would say I think that pick was literally crucial because now we're gonna see two Booyah Bombs to cap the zone, and if that doesn't cap, I don't know what it is. And that almost didn't cap. What the hell? Oh, sorry.
Hey, no worries. We are here. The zone is capped, which means that precious penalty points were applied on the side of Mictlan Demons. They had cleared them up until before that, so now you've stalled their progression towards taking away your lead. With a minute and left, that is crucial. Garfield's adventure does have 4 members up. Make that 3. They managed to cap that zone. At this point, it's just about stalling for time, trying to stay alive, trying to lock out the members of Mictlan Demons. We do see that 52 going in for that slash. Ooh, absolutely outmaneuvering them, moving over there, getting the pick on that bucket. That bucket has been absolutely popping off this match, so that's a very, very important pick.
That was a very crucial pick for sure, because Dafter was setting up to a point where they could get even more and more sneaky and get like picks from just sharking. But the problem is right now with 30 seconds remaining, the lead can still go to Mictlan Demons. But with now 2 people left the zone, Dafter trying to hold it as much as they can, try to find the shooter, it gets the win. It has missiles, trying to find the perfect place to pop it up. That moment they were not painting the zone. Was it actually worth to use missiles? It was worth it. They managed to use missiles one more time. They get the lead with 10. It's just a K-shot on their spawn, and the second match is gonna go to Mictlan Demons once again.
No way.
Oh.
Man, that's crazy. I was so sure that Garfield's Halloween Adventure had that, but sometimes, man, somebody's just thinking 3 or 4 steps ahead of you, and that absolutely very lucky on the side of Dafter there, that they didn't get picked when they were popping those missiles, and that the zone wasn't quickly capped in that 2 seconds that during the animation where you can't do anything while popping missiles. A little bit of luck was on their side there with that.
Oh yeah, I have been on those places where like bait the zone or should I use my special? Like for example, when you play Expo and you wanna like pop bubbles to get control of the zone, even though it's not the most played Expo, on Anchovy, you're like, if I stop shooting the zone, if I stop hitting the zone with my ink, literally they are gonna cap. I cannot afford to use bubbles to just go back to neutral. I literally need to just keep painting and have another special to have a follow up after that. I cannot be the initial bubble. It needs to be something later. And
Hey, yo.
that was very well played from Dafter. And now we see that there's like Garfield still has the Splatling with Ray as their part of their set. Do you think they're gonna drop it, or do you think they're gonna still try their best with it? Because honestly, I want to see that Splatling pop up as I saw on the beginning of the Zones on Humpback.
I mean, I could still see the Splatling pop off. Booyah and Ray are both great here for TC Manta. We do see the ballpoint. Man, king of all Splatlings, Rudy. Absolutely. We appreciate that. Going for the Inkjet. Is that the Inkjet or Storm Ballpoint, Fern?
This is the Storm Ballpoint, the custom set, the second variant. And also, did you notice that there is a player playing double ability? I think it was the Enza from Mictlan Heroes, Mictlan Demons. Archer is playing. No, sorry, Archer is playing the double ability. Sorry.
Yeah, I did not notice that. Very keen eyes that you would, immediately notice that of all things. We do see the K-52 going down on the side of Garfield's Halloween Adventure. Chica popping missiles. Mitlans may be beginning a push, but with their 52 down, they do have to play this cautiously as well as their Zap being down. Excuse me. Chica getting a trade with Violet, but Garfield's Adventure is going to be able to take lead here, beginning their push. They do have their armor ready to go for when they get to that checkpoint, but unfortunately Archer does go down, taking that armor out with them, and they were not able to clear that checkpoint, which means that it's now time to just fall back, sit in neutral for a little bit, and force a good opportunity or wait for one. Oh man, 3 people down on the side of Garfield's. This is an opportunity for Mictlan.
Oh yeah, and right here is actually quite interesting what we're seeing. Like this is the setup you want to see in Manta TC. Setup where one person takes control of left side, one person rides the tower, one person goes to their bunker, at least on the high ground, and then the third person can go in between. It moves around in between two objectives, and that like can guarantee the very well good amount of push, specifically breaking at least the second checkpoint, which is the hardest one on this map.
Yeah, having cleared both of those checkpoints is very, very significant. Archer pulling it off there, defending that snipe. One member going down on the side of Mictlan. Make that, oh man, clutch up, my dude, absolutely. Halfway to armor, and taking control of mid. We do see that their bunker is secure. Violet near that tower. Two specials online on the side of Garfield, gradually getting closer. Unfortunately, their 52 is down, which is going to stall their offense for just a little bit. They have two people on the left plat that they really have to clear if they want to be able to clear that first checkpoint. Oh, the ballpoint is being rushed by the K-Shot. No, the K-Shot, it is going to get the pick there. Pop up, Chica, love to see it. And will they be able to clear the bunk? Yes, or meaning that Archer is the only one up, and Mictlan is going to begin another push.
Damn, Mictlan here right now has made their setup so perfect, like with Dafter on the left, Chica just smooshing around, and honestly I would say I think this match compared to like the previous ones I watched, because I was watching earlier, and this one, there has been a lot of people getting splattered by bombs and missiles. So something weird is happening on this match in terms on both sides. Both sides have got splattered because of missiles or bombs, and honestly nobody likes getting splattered by them apart from all, because it's literally like they were there, you did not see. I shouldn't have got splattered by that, and it is maybe what is stopping Garfield from managing to push so much or to stop their pushes, and that's why how they got to 34 points.
Yeah, the thing is with Manta is how narrow your areas of opportunity are, other than plats. Mid is relatively divided by that mast. So a good bomb or two can take control of a large chunk of any given area on this map. Street, a suction bomb is going to essentially cut access in street. It's very claustrophobic. We do see trades on both sides. Rudy pushed up very aggressively into Mictlan's street. They are pushing up. They did clear that first checkpoint. They have specials online, popping Storm, trying to prevent the members of Mictlan Demons from re-engaging, but missiles are being popped on them as they are at that second checkpoint. Archer riding the tower. Ooh, Leak going down on Snipe. Panty Muerto in their elbow, trying to push up, trying to stop that. Oh, no. Ooh, man, that Slosher, that's not where you want a Slosher to be on Manta. That's quite a significant threat, and Violet's the only one up.
Oh my, I was like, oh come on, no, ballpoint, don't do that, because like, here's the thing, it was just the bucket alive, it was just the bucket alive, and the bucket is the best weapon to stop the second checkpoint, because you literally can stay behind the wall. The ballpoint couldn't have gone to tower, and the NZAP couldn't have pushed in. It needed to get the lead. It was literally, yeah, because like, since you have more range, you can scare the bucket from there. So the ballpoint being on the top of the bunker was way more important than the NZAP managed to get into the enemy base and get a pick, because then you literally giving the high ground and stop. I think if they haven't done that, they could have actually gotten lead. So sad.
That's the thing with Splatoon, though. I mean, we still can see a reverse sweep here. Let's be real, there are 4 matches left. But the thing is with Splatoon is there are so many things to keep track of at once. You have your comp to deal with, you have your opposing comp to deal with, you have positioning for that specific map. And then not only do you have to know what your objectives are and how to approach your objective, but you also have to be aware of how your opponents are going to approach their objective, which is clearing you out of there. And yeah, that's what sloshers do at that second checkpoint. It's easy for us to say that removed from the situation and the stress of the match. But when you are in that situation, the only thing you're thinking of is, I have to clear this checkpoint. I have to get on tower. And it can be incredibly stressful. And I mean, congratulations to that Slosher popping off like that, knowing exactly where to be, when to be at the right time, and they did it successfully. They got the double, they won the match, they clutched that push. 10 out of 10 from that Slosher. It's sad, you know, from Rudy and Archer. You know, they're fantastic players, and we're all gonna have those moments, right?
Yeah. After MVP once again, saving the tower at the last second. And now for the Clan Blitz, the final match for Mictlan Heroes, or possibly the beginning of the wins for Garfield. Spooky Adventure. Remember, the adventure can start at any time. But unfortunately, this isn't Adventure Time. This is Garfield's Spooky Adventure.
You know what's spooky? A reverse sweep!
Sweet. No, but yeah, honestly, with this, I still think we're gonna see the afterplay in the bucket, and probably gonna see the remix coming back. Oh my god, double K gal? Double
What?
K gal?
Oh man, when you need to get control of Bridge, you've gotta bring out that double wall.
If you're watching this, remember when you asked about the toxic mist? Well, you're definitely not toxic, but this is toxic. This is toxic.
Well, is it though? Because they do manage to get the pick on one of those K-Gals. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and sometimes you know what's broken. You gotta use it. Pandemurto
is the one doing it.
Hey yo! Oh man, Mictlan. Oh wow, you're right. It is Mictlan with the double K-Gal. I don't know how I didn't notice that. Man, Garfield's did score first. Oh man, I was so distracted by the double K-Gal, Fern.
My bad, I usually distract people with pointless facts, like for example, Kelpdome has the biggest drones in the entire game. Fun fact.
Hey yo, that's exactly what we need right now, some Kelpdome facts here on Clan Blitz Reef. Muerto pushing up, trying to get access to that basket, but they're just going to be shut down by missiles and bombs, forced all the way back into their own tree, having to give up that entire offensive push. Archer on top of Bridge, though, absolutely just in control of that complete area, and one of the 52s is down. Will that double 52 decision bite them in the rear?
Honestly, no, it won't. It's just Clan Blitz. It takes a little bit of while. It's a matter, as we saw in the first match on Snapper. It takes a while to begin a push, and it's the moment that you make the push happens is when you think that it's happening. And we already see it's a 40 points for Mictlan Heroes, and we're not gonna see. We only have 3 more clans, and it's just the 52 guy remaining on their drop. But it's just running away for their life. I hope the Archer doesn't get picked from behind. 52 is still alive. XVC trying to set up a push. The suction bomb doesn't get the explosion on the wall. Will they be able to start their push? But apparently, no, the 52 also backs off and meets another 52 underneath mid. So goes back up because it's actually a better scenario. And if jumps into a 2v1 situation, Booyah Bomb being popped right here, trying to get the pick. But the bucket does say something together with the splash damage from the other 52.
Yeah, a great survivability there from XVC, using that, painting their own feet, getting out of there, trying to put themselves in the best situation they could. Unfortunately, 2v1s are just that, they are 2v1s. We do see Pandemurto preparing for another push. That is very scary for Garfield, especially given that their zap is down. With 30 penalty points to clear, though, that is quite significant. And they do miss the basket, though, but there are 3 members down on the side of Garfield's, which means that they are going to have their work cut out for them, and Leek is in position to just milk that push.
Now, Leek was smart, gave the power clamp, didn't score anymore just to preserve their own life. Gets the pick on the ball point that was trying to punish them for such aggression. Gets another one. Well, Leek is just gonna continue pushing, I guess, with another power climb inside. They do have enough to start. The 52 using Booyah Bomb on a shredding from the ball point. They get they miss. They miss. You get what you deserve for your 2 bomb, 2 Booyah, 2 52 gals. But they.
Yeah, just absolute, just ruthlessness over in that car area. We do see Leek and Dafter being forced back, though, by quite successful stuff from Violet, Archer, and Rudy there. That push is going to come to a close, and 3 members are down on the side of Mictlan. You just gotta run, dudes. Run! Go! Yes, we see Archer absolutely going for it, getting that dunk. It is time to give Mictlan a taste of their own medicine, and look at that. 17 clams, 10 dunk, 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 dunk. Whoa, they dunk! Yes! With 53 seconds. Man, can they do it? We shall see.
Please expect Leek to... Lex, come on. Oh, they expect Lex to be flanking. They stop. Very well, smart. Thank you, Archer. Please get a 1 game. Don't let this double 52 win the match. For the love of the great Sapfish, you guys can still do it. 30, you literally... sorry, you need just like 1 power clam and just 5 clams to get the lead. That's it. You just need 15. You just need this 15 to get the lead. Don't die to the soul.
Oh no! The slosher absolutely coming in and saying, nah, I know what you're gonna do before you do it. But we do have XVC working up here. There are everybody's down on the side of Mictlan. They're coming out of spawn. Whoa, is this happening? Ayo, they're not done yet with Swimmer Spook. They say, you know what's a reverse sweep. Go, my dudes!
Goodness,
Ayo!
50 didn't win. Oh my.
You bet they didn't, because we're all tired of that. And Garfield's Halloween Adventure says, don't you try and meme us. We're still here. We're gonna absolutely show that K52 where it belongs, and that's with an L.
But also this victory doesn't taste as good because also the 52 on Garfield top rack, so like 52 still busted. So like I won, but at what cost?
Yeah, when you have to side with the enemy in order to take the victory. Oh man, but we are going to be moving on to a game 5 with Rainmaker Starfish. Rainmaker Starfish.
Started with Rainmaker. Can Mictlan Heroes finish with Rainmaker? Or we're just gonna see continuation from Garfield in order to get their reverse sweep? This is gonna be sweet. We're gonna trick or treat.
I will apologize to Lex over there for mispronouncing your name the entire set. Please forgive my bad eyes. For some reason, I thought that X was a K. Forgive me, Lex.
I mean, we make mistakes, right?
Yeah,
have you
we're
ever
all
heard?
squids here.
Remember the Splatfest Unicorn versus Narwhal? Yeah, I understand confusions with letters.
I actually wasn't there for that Splatfest, but I will take your word for it. We do see Mictlan's taking a little bit of time to paint up their pit area. XVC and Archer in position to try and get the pop, but they dip using that splash wall to shield them from the Rainmaker pop. That is very, very big brain of them. It's currently neutral, as we would expect with only 20 seconds down, but K52 does have their Booyah. Garfield's Halloween Adventure does have their armor online, but they are going to have to hold that while they wait for their spot lane to respawn. No, and the shot goes down too, which means they're going to have to hold that armor for just a little bit longer. They choose to pop, though, for self-preservation, most likely, given that Archer did go down in that pit.
I find it so weird how a lot of walls are in play. Like, imagine this at the beginning. Oh, that was a nice 33 points. But yeah, imagine this at the beginning of the game, like the splash walls being so frequent in front of us. And it's just interesting because actually that helps the splat league, even though, because like if you actually have a sprinkler from the vanilla set and the bubbles from the second set is actually the best of both worlds, honestly. And with Garfield's attempt to try to get don't get splattered by the bucket. Violet, don't follow the water. Come on, Violet, you can do it. I believe in you.
You can do it, Violet. We believe in you. Violet's down. That was a joke, Fern. Anyway.
No, I'm letting you continue to lead the mic.
Oh no, I'm good. I was just making that joke.
Oh no, I like the joke. I just, but yeah. Anyway, let's continue with Mictlan Heroes once again trying to resume the flash. It's a 4v2 scenario. The Rainmaker is being pressured by 2 weapons at this moment on the high ground, trying to get the jump. Portos managed to step on the beginning of the ramp, but Archer drops, and it's just the 52 trying to get into a 2v1 situation. If the Rainmaker pops, it does get to 52. They get even more points. They got to 8. 8. So hard. It's gonna be for Violet. They managed to pop it again, and they KO. Well, that's it.
Oh my goodness. A hot diggity dog. Okay, that was our final match. It was over before we knew it. It was so sudden. Midlands is going to take the W on that match, meaning that they win Swim or Spook Grand Finals.
Everyone's high pitch at this moment of the game. We don't get to go to Game 7, unfortunately, but I think Game 5. A lot of games went to Game 5. To be fair, that is actually quite fun. But Mictlan Demons, GG's, very well played. You guys did amazing job abusing your comp. I'm not saying this with beginners. I'm actually saying seriously. You did very well coordination. Daph playing the bucket. The coordinations in terms of pushing in, sharking, very well played. Garfield, you gave a splendid show. The Clan Blitz victory was very, very well played. The managing of the clans among your teammates. Congratulations. You also are well deserved of your second place. You guys fought hard to get here. Your comp was very admirable as well. We managed to see you win against Oreo Boos. Scappy, help me. Oreo Boos, the Clan Blitz Piranha Pit set was very well played. Congratulations to both teams. And whoever is on the third, fourth place dispute match, Nawal Gaming versus Oreo Boos. Good luck if you haven't finished the match. And yeah, that's it for Scappy, right? Just give the warning about low ink.
Oh yeah, low ink this weekend. Sign up now. Like you have to, like right now. Get your get your team together, ready to go. Play low ink. I'll be playing low ink for the first time. Let's go, guys! Very very excited, and I hope to fight you there. Show up. You can do this. I have faith in you. It is the wonderful, fantabulous low ink, the one and only, the biggest tournament in the scene right now.
Popkin, can I play low ink, please?
You know he's gonna say no. No, we got a no from Kraken. Ayo. Yeah. We are going to be wrapping up tonight. We'll be rating Sky a wonderful member of our IPL family, so please stay and support them. Really, they're a fantastic person and fantastic streamer, so enjoy watching that stream. Fern, where can the good people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at superfern013 or at Discord. Well, Fern7398. I'm honestly just like, yeah, you can find it anywhere. I'm gonna actually put an altar close to my house seat. That's where you can find me. And where they can find you, Scappy?
You can find me at Twitter at Skepidalians, and I also stream on Twitch under the same name as seen on screen. So thank you all for tuning out for our spooky evening, and we will see you on the flippity flop. Stay spooky.